The story opens in a grim, blood-soaked scene within a dark dungeon. A woman with an imposing presence appears. She asks, "Where?" But the person opposite her only responds with weak breaths, not bothering to answer. Seeing his silence, the woman raises her sword and demands, "I asked you, where are they?" The man, our protagonist, Gum Yang Qian, remains silent even with a sword pointed at him. Who could have known that this young woman was the direct disciple of the Sword Venerable? With a single sword she had slaughtered 100,000 demons and was hailed as the greatest under the heavens. She was the one who ended the great war of righteousness and demons, a seemingly endless hellish conflict, by killing the heavenly demon with a fatal stab to the chest and a slash that split him in two. She is the sword god Wi-Sol-Ah. The scene shifts, enraged. Sola grabs Yang Qian by the collar and shouts, "You definitely know, don't you? Where are the rest of the demons if you have even a shred of conscience left?" Yang Qian dazedly thinks to himself, "I know, but my vocal cords are destroyed, so I can't speak. Besides, this restriction curse makes me powerless." Tears suddenly well up in Seolah's eyes. "This is your last chance," she says. "Everyone wants you dead. Just help me this one time and I will bet everything to save you. So please, please, please." Yang Qian ponders. Perhaps her hatred for that man has made her this desperate. It could be. I suspect that the shooting star sword Zhang Xianyan was also captured by the demons, which is why she's acting this way. How ridiculous. The woman stronger than anyone else is this distraught over a man. Suddenly, Seolah yanks Yang Qian up by his collar and ruthlessly throws the poor boy to the ground. Filled with rage, she says, "If I had known you were this vile, I would have killed you the first day we met. I deeply regret not doing so." Lying on the ground, Yang Qian thinks, the first day we met. What moment is she thinking of? It must be very different from my own memory. When did it all go wrong? Was it wrong from the very beginning? I am a traitor who backstabbed countless people and defected to the demons. Yes, this is all my karma. Then Seol-Ah, sobbing, turns to leave. But as she walks away, she suddenly looks back. She sees Gum Yang Qian kneeling, using his finger to write on the floor. "Gum Yang Qian, what are you doing?" she asks. But just as he begins to write, the restriction curse in his heart activates, causing him immense pain. Immediately, Yang Qian coughs up a large amount of blood. He recalls the heavenly demon's words, "My curse, if you disobey, your heart will explode. It is the demonic art of the heavenly demon. You must not betray the demonic cult." Just as warned, the curse intensifies, making his chest feel like it's about to burst. Seolah rushes to his side. "Gum Yang Qian, can you hear me? Why are you suddenly coughing up blood? Is it because of what I asked? If you can't, then stop." In agony, Yang Qian thinks, "I can't hear her voice clearly anymore. If I told you it wasn't my will that I was framed, would you believe me?" "No, you wouldn't. There are too many excuses I could make for the evil I've done. But at this point, what trust is left? It's over. This is the end." As Geum Yang Qian writes down the location where the demons are hiding, the curse in his heart fully erupts, squeezing his heart. He coughs up blood relentlessly. After a moment, the protagonist collapses, his heart having exploded in his chest. In extreme agony, he thinks, "Why did I live such a life?" He recalls a scene in a small alley. A woman in a red dress reaches out and gently strokes his cheek. Even as she was dying, she smiled brightly and said, "Little brother, you must live a happy life." But now, Yang Qian's heart is shattered. Through blurry eyes, he thinks, "My life was built upon a mountain of regrets, big and small." He remembers another gloomy scene where a woman sat dejectedly. His footsteps approach slowly. He silently walks to her side. She smiles and says, "Is that you? I'm sorry." But Yang Qian's eyes are lifeless as he stares at her. In the present, Seol-Ah is crying uncontrollably, screaming Jum Yang Qian's name as her tears fall onto his face. Yang Qian recalls another memory. It's raining outside. A hand reaches up and a voice asks, "Are you crying?" Yang Qian replies, "Don't be ridiculous. Anyone can see it's just rain." A woman with white hair asks, "You're not crying? Is the moon bright tonight?" "Yes," the protagonist replies coldly. It's very bright. The woman in white smiles beautifully. Really, that's a relief. But right after she breathes her last dying in Gyumyang Cheon's arms. Gyumyang Cheon of Shanxi County, born into the righteous faction, lived as a member of the righteous faction yet became a demon. After being tortured following his defeat in the Great War, he officially died. Then Yang Cheon slowly closes his eyes, but when he opens them again, a beautiful little girl appears before him. She says cheerfully, "Potato, potato. Do you want a potato?" Gyumyang Cheon has officially regressed to the time when he was still a stubborn youth. He has returned to that day, the day they first met. He stands there dazed, thinking, "What's going on? I'm sure I violated the heavenly demon's curse, and then my heart burst, and I died a painful and regretful death in wee Sola's arms. That's what happened. There's no way I could be fine after my heart exploded. Yet, it's beating normally." He looks at his small, clean hands. Is this a dream of my childhood? But why did it have to be the very first day I met her? He thinks back. What did I say back then? He remembers the moment, and in his memory slaps the potato out of Seola's hand, shocking the little girl. He then stomps on the potato and angrily yells, "Have you no manners? How dare you offer me something like that?" Returning to the present, he clutches his head. Oh God, did I really say that? To even recall this in a dream must mean I regret it deeply. Little Seol-ah timidly asks, "Do you hate potatoes?" But this time, Gyumyang Cheon isn't an aggressive boy. He's a kind one. He reaches out, takes the potato from her hand, and with a bright smile says, "Thank you. I'll enjoy it." True to his word, he brings the potato to his mouth and takes a bite. But life isn't always a dream. As he takes a bite, he burns his mouth. He thinks in shock, "What? It's not reality, but I can feel the heat." Seeing this, Seol-ah laughs innocently. "Ha ha 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 ha! Your face is all red." Suddenly, someone runs up from behind, calling, young master, you suddenly disappeared." "So, you were here." Yang Cheon thinks, "Is this my guard?" "What was his name?" "Muyon." Muyon continues, "I was worried if you were all right, young master." Immediately, Yang Cheon sticks out his tongue, burned from his greedy bite, holding the hot potato as if to say, "I'm fine. I'm totally fine. Do I look fine to you?" Seeing his young master in this state, Muyon angrily draws his sword and shouts, "How dare you!" But Yang Cheon stops him. "It's fine. Give it here." Muyon is confused. "The pastry. It's the last one," he says, handing it to Yang Cheon. Yang Cheon immediately offers it to Seol-ah. "Do you want this?" Muyon is shocked. What the hell, the young master is helping someone else. Seol-ah is also incredibly surprised. "For me, really?" "Of course," Yang Cheon replies calmly. "You gave me a potato. This is all I have for you." Seol-ah is already drooling. She stares at the pastry and says, "Wow, it looks so delicious. This is the first time I've ever received something like this. It smells so good." Suddenly a hurried voice calls out, "Seol-ah!" An old man with white hair appears running frantically. Though he looks old, he's no ordinary person. Seol-ah runs to hug her grandfather, and the old man sighs in relief. "Seol-ah, you're safe. Grandpa told you not to run off on your own." Seol-ah smiles. "It's okay, I brought potatoes." "The problem isn't the potatoes," the old man says gently. "Are you hurt anywhere?" "No, Grandpa. I'm not hurt," she replies. Witnessing this scene, Yang Cheon seems quite shocked and thinks, "That person is..." Suddenly, Seol-ah raises her hand. "Oh, I shared a potato with that young man," she says, pointing towards Yang Cheon. Seeing this, the old man does not look pleased. He grabs Seol-ah's wrist, pulls her away, and bows his head before Yang Cheon. "My granddaughter is ill-mannered and has offended you, young master. If she has done anything wrong, I hope you can forgive her." Yang Cheon smiles. "It's all right, old man. In fact, I should be thanking her for the potato. I was hungry, so it was a great relief to have it. I only have this pastry to give in return. If it's okay, please let her have it." He then offers the pastry. The old man seems a bit surprised. Seol-ah, on the other hand, is overjoyed. "Young Master Seol-ah is fine. So the pastry..." She reaches out to take it, but the old man grabs her and starts to run away. No, we can't. We cannot accept something so valuable. We won't get in your way any longer. Please excuse us. Old man, wait, Yang Qian calls out. The old man turns back, flustered. Young master, if you are still not satisfied, this old man... But surprisingly, Yang Qian just runs up, gives the pastry to Siola, and says, This is my gift in return. If we have the chance, let's meet again. Siola is as happy as can be, but her grandfather remains very wary. He thinks that child... Siola seems to have found him. Soon after, the old man and the little girl bid farewell to the protagonist and leave. Yang Qian stands there watching them go, a relaxed smile on his face. Suddenly, he lets out a long sigh, looking a bit dazed. That old man. Not long ago, he ascended to the position of the Murim Alliance Lord. He is known as the greatest martial artist under the heavens. One of the three venerables, a figure who was once a source of fear for the four great factions. The Sword Venerable Wei Hyonguan. I don't know why, but the Sword Venerable is in a place like this, even if this is a dream. In the distance, Siola is still turning back, smiling brightly and waving at Goom Yang Qian. He just stood there, smiling calmly. Mu Yan spoke up. Young master, it's time to return. Yang Qian turned around. All right, let's go back. There's nothing left to regret now, is there? It should be time to wake up now. Some time later, they arrived at a large estate. We have arrived. Young master, Mu Yan announced, which threw Yang Qian into complete confusion. Damn it, why hasn't this ended yet? He thought. If this is a dream, I should have woken up by now. If it's not a dream, could it be related to the heavenly demon's curse? How strange. Suddenly a voice spoke from beside him. I'm surprised you didn't run away when the patriarch showed up. Yang Qian thought, the red sun sword, Goom Yopseo, the person who looks down on me more than anyone else. She's saying the patriarch is coming, everyone is gathering. Goom Yopseo continued. What are you plotting this time? If you're thinking of something stupid, just stop right here. It'll help your big sister out. Yang Qian brushed her hand away and replied indifferently, I'm here because this is my rightful place. Yopseo said resentfully, You haven't even turned to look at me once since you saw me have you. That's right. It is my fault. The protagonist replied nonchalantly, I will apologize to the patriarch later. But hearing those words didn't please Goom Yopseo. She roared in anger, Goom Yang Qian! Immediately, her entire aura flared up. She advanced aggressively, her body radiating a murderous intent as if she wanted to eat him alive. I don't know what kind of game you're playing, but you stop it right here. I'm getting really angry. Now you hear me? You're not a child anymore. But suddenly, Yang Qian held up a hand to stop her. Wait. Father. No, the patriarch is here. Just then, the sound of a horse neighing echoed from the distance. A moment later, a horse stopped in front of everyone. The man riding it looked imposing just by sitting there. What is all this noise? The patriarch's voice boomed. Immediately, everyone bowed to the man. He, however, just stared intently at the protagonist, making him feel incredibly uneasy. After a moment that felt like an eternity, the man turned and called out, Steward, are there any sword squads on break right now? The steward clasped his hands and replied, The first sword squad is resting after their return. The fourth sword squad is awaiting orders. Then tell the fourth sword squad to prepare and come see me. The patriarch continued. Yang Qian thought nervously, I don't know if this is a dream or reality, but his gaze still weighs heavily on me. As he walked inside, the patriarch added, Third son, come to the patriarch's private chambers after the meal. Hearing this, Yang Qian was stunned. The two people beside him were just as shocked. The protagonist then turned and asked, Hey, do you have any digestive medicine? Later that evening, inside the patriarch's dining room, tables were laden with food. Yang Qian thought, the atmosphere at meals is still the same. Damn it, I can't even tell if the food is going into my mouth or my nose. Being summoned privately isn't comfortable at all. If only someone could change this atmosphere. Suddenly the patriarch spoke up. Second daughter, I hear you have made some achievements in your martial arts. Goom Yopseo replied cheerfully. Yes, father. I had a small enlightenment and reached the third star realm a few days ago. Quite fast for your age, the patriarch responded. Very good. Keep up the hard work. Yang Qian thought to reach the third star realm at that age is truly amazing. If you have talent and work hard, it's a natural result. Moreover, I never expected she knew how to smile. She looks much prettier when she smiles. I think I should take back what I just thought. It's no different from seeing a worm. Suddenly, the patriarch called out, "Third son, I heard you went out." Yes, father. I had something to take care of, so I went out for a bit," Yang Qian replied. The patriarch just gave a slight nod. Then he slowly stood up. "I will leave first. You may continue eating." Yang Qian thought, It felt like he wanted to say something. He said he wanted to see me privately after the meal, so he'll probably say more then. Just then, a maid approached him. "Young master, the patriarch said that he needs to rest today. He asks that you come see him in his chambers tomorrow." Yang Qian was confused. Why the sudden change of plans? Late that night, he was sitting precariously on the windowsill, a dumbfounded look on his face. "So I still haven't woken up. This isn't a dream. This thing, is it what they call regression?" At that thought, the protagonist seemed to remember something. He gritted his teeth and clenched his fists. "Does this mean I can kill the heavenly demon first? No, that's just a fleeting, foolish wish. How could I kill the heavenly demon, the one who killed even the 3 venerables? To save my own life, I had to submit to him. I regretted it countless times in that sinful life. I realized so many things. If I were to be reborn, I would definitely choose a different life. In any case, the heavenly demon will die at Wee Sol Ah's hands, and the demonic cult will soon be destroyed. Until everything is resolved, I will live quietly and do what needs to be done. I can't miss this chance. I will not repeat the mistakes of my past life. If so, then first..." Immediately, Yang Qian began to circulate his energy, feeling his body. He could feel his burning donjon. He then sat there, smiling foolishly. "Ha ha ha! I've scoured this entire body, and this is all the internal energy I have. Seeing this meager amount of internal energy makes me realize how truly amazing it is that my sister reached the 3rd star. Still, I'm not completely helpless. The art passed down only to the Gyum bloodline. I will practice the Gyum clan's blazing flame wheel art. I'll accumulate the art slowly like a flower blooming. At the 4th star, one can emit red internal energy. At the 7th star, it envelops the body. But right now, I'm only at the 1st star. I need to quickly gather internal energy and cultivate to reach the 2nd star. To live a peaceful life different from my past one, I can't borrow the power of demons. The only way is to cultivate and gain strength on my own. The problem is, if I push any harder, I'll probably die. Indeed, using internal energy with my current strength is not easy. If I overdo it, I'll suffer from chi deviation. However, it's not without results. Though I've just started, I've already reached the 2nd star. I'll continue like this one step at a time, but not slowly, for a life different from before. I won't let thoughtless actions affect the future." The next morning, the protagonist woke up groggily. "My whole body aches from just a little bit of training. It's all because I haven't been training all this time. The road ahead is long. I'll go to the patriarch's room in the afternoon. Before that, I'll train a little more." But as soon as he opened the door, he saw the sword god from his past life, right at his doorstep. Wee Sol Ah smiled brightly. "Hello? We meet again." In my past life, if I remember correctly, there was a day when dark clouds covered this town. The people were confused and terrified when they saw a spatial rift in the sky. "What are you looking at? Aren't you going home? It's not a star. What is that thing?" From within the rift, a terrifying red eye appeared. The witnesses were scared to death. What is that?" Then giant sharp-clawed feet emerged. On that day, monsters that tore open the sky fell down. It was called the Demon Realm Gate. Each clan selected a group to fight against the monsters known as the Sword Squads. All clans had to have these people. The Gyum clan also had the 5th Sword Squad. My eldest sister, Gyum Hee-Bee, was its leader. After many events, I ended up under her command for half a year. If I ever made a mistake or was lazy, she would grab me by the hair and drag me away. But it was there that I met Wee Sol Ah again. That was my second meeting with her after the first potato encounter. In my past life, it would be at least another 6 months before this happened. But what the hell? Why is the first person I see after waking up her? Not only that, Seola said cheerfully. "It's great to see you again." The two of them stared at each other, sparks flying. Suddenly, Yang Qian turned back inside, muttering, "I must still be asleep." He probably couldn't believe his own eyes. Why was Seola here? According to his memories, he shouldn't be seeing her for a long time, and certainly not under these circumstances. Seola quickly stepped forward and grabbed his sleeve tightly. Hey, wait!" At that moment, it was probably clear this was no longer a dream. Yang Qian was so shocked his hair stood on end. Seola continued shyly, "Please take care of me. From today onwards." Suddenly, a hand reached out and swatted Seola's hand off Yang Qian's sleeve. It was her grandfather. He said sternly, "Seola, you must not be impolite to the young master I already told you." Meanwhile, Yang Qian still had no idea what was happening. What the hell is this? What did he just say?" The white-haired old man continued. "Hurry up and apologize to the young master." Frightened, Seola stammered an apology. I'm sorry." Yang Qian was still in shock. What is this?" He put a hand to his chin, trying to process what was happening. Could this be another dream? While Yang Qian was trying to make sense of the situation, the old man bowed his head and continued. "Thanks to the Patriarch's grace, starting today, we will be assisting the young master. We may not be satisfactory, but we will do our best. We are in your care." Upon hearing this, Yang Qian froze in shock. Holy crap! Assisting Wei Hyunguan is assisting me. Is this for real? Timidly, Seola added, "From now on, just like my grandpa, I will be assisting the young master. My name is Seola. Please take care of me." At this point, Yang Qian could no longer keep his composure. 1,000 questions flooded his mind. Assisting who, me? What the hell kind of assisting? This is insane. It's all a mess. He took a deep breath. But wait, if it's by the Patriarch's grace, that means my father gave the direct order. "We are in your care, young master," the old man repeated. Yang Qian still couldn't believe it, his mind reeling. This life has felt strange from the very beginning. He composed himself and said, "You don't need to call me young master. You can just call me Yang Qian." "Yes, we understand, young master," the old man replied. Soon after they got to work, the sound of a broom sweeping echoed across the courtyard, kicking up dust. From a distance, Yang Qian watched and muttered, "Look at that broom." The old man seemed to hear Yang Qian's voice, paused for a moment, and glanced in his direction. Then he broke into a warm, affectionate smile. But that very look only confused the protagonist even more. He was stunned. Is this really happening? But more importantly, in the distance, a towering pile of clothes was moving towards him. The person carrying the basket was none other than Seol-ah. Seeing the stack of clothes wobbling precariously, a maid walking alongside her said, "Seol-ah, it's dangerous to carry all that by yourself." Wanting to prove she wasn't useless, Seol-ah stubbornly replied, "No, Seol-ah can do it." "Don't be like that. Let me carry it for you," the other girl insisted, but Seol-ah held onto the pile of clothes tightly. "I can really do it." But then Seol-ah suddenly tripped on a stone and fell flat on her face. The basket of clothes flew everywhere and she face-planted onto the ground in pain. The loud crash made her grandfather startle and turn to look. Not only that, but the empty basket flew high into the air and landed right on her head. The people around were speechless. Suddenly, Seol-ah's whole body trembled. Ashamed, she covered her face and started crying. Wah, too embarrassed to look up. Yang Qian thought to himself, how can she be so clumsy? The two maids who were with Seol-ah knelt down to comfort her. It's okay, everyone makes mistakes. Watching this, Yang Qian thought, can you believe someone with such martial talent could be so clumsy at simple chores? As he thought this, his eyes accidentally met Seol-ah's. Not wanting any more trouble, he quickly looked away and muttered, oh, good grief. Over on her side, Seol-ah, who was sobbing, suddenly stood up. The maid beside her asked in surprise, Seol-ah, where are you going? It turned out that the upset girl with the bucket still on her head and clothes in her arms was heading towards Yang Qian. This confused him. How can you not do anything right? He said. Seol-ah replied firmly, I have to follow the young master at all times. Surprised, Yang Qian asked, who said that? Why would you follow me? Grandpa did, Seol-ah answered. Ah, is that so? Yang Qian replied, a bit taken aback. A thought suddenly crossed his mind. So that's how it is. It seems Wi Sola now belongs to me. The tasks that no one else wants to do are probably being passed on to her. After all, I am a young master of this world. Is it okay for her to belong to me? But with the sword venerable in the picture, it feels a bit pressuring. While Yang Qian's mind was racing, Seola had already approached and neatly straightened his clothes. Then she chirped happily. Ta-da, all done. Done. You call this done? I'm a grown man, and she tied a huge bow on me. Yang Qian was furious, but couldn't do anything about it. He adjusted his clothes himself, thinking, does father know their identities? Or are there just so many people quitting that he doesn't know? He told me to come to his chambers today. I'll find out what's going on then. With that thought, Yang Qian quickly left. Seola hurriedly ran after him, calling out, Young master, wait for me. Annoyed, Yang Qian replied, Are you planning to follow me? Stay here and learn your duties. Although she really wanted to go, Seola could only reply, yes. Her eyes were already welling up with tears of disappointment. Her grandfather watched the two children from a distance, a hint of sadness in his heart. Yang Qian was about to say something more, but after looking at her innocent face, he forgot what he was going to say. As he stepped towards the gate, he turned back to give instructions. Remember to learn your duties well. But Seola remained silent, her face filled with hurt. Feeling a bit worried, Yang Qian added as he stepped outside, Hey, I'll give you a pastry, so learn properly. With that, he closed the gate and left. As soon as she heard the mention of a pastry, Seola's expression did a 180-degree turn from sad to excited. She truly was a girl who loved sweets. Her spirit lifted in an instant. Her grandfather felt helpless at his granddaughter's innocent, childlike personality. A while later, Yang Qian arrived in front of the patriarch's chambers. Standing outside, he trembled. Sigh. I'm so nervous. In my past life, we were never this close. I don't think we ever even had a private conversation like this. What should I say now? Since he summoned me, he must have something to say. After I hear him out, I'll ask why Wi Hongguan and Sol A are here so suddenly. While Yang Qian was still trembling, too scared to enter, his father appeared silently behind him. What are you doing not going in? His father asked coldly. Startled, Yang Qian blurted out, Ah, father, you scared me. His father was speechless at his son's reaction. Well, come in, he said. Yes, sir. The atmosphere grew tense and suffocating. Yang Qian thought in embarrassment. I'm screwed. I just cursed in front of the patriarch. Goom, Yang Qian. Why didn't you just kill yourself then and there? His father quickly spoke to break the heavy silence. Have you met the new servants? Yes, Yang Qian replied cheerfully. I met them on my way here this morning. What do you think? I can only thank the patriarch for granting me servants. It's just that... Seeing his son's hesitation, the patriarch was a bit surprised. He took a sip of water to compose himself and then said, It is not yet time. When the time comes, I will tell you everything. Yes, I understand, Yang Qian replied calmly. Father knows everything, but still let them in. He must have already spoken with Wi Hongguan. Don't concern yourself with such trivial matters, his father continued. Prepare for your departure to the Gyeomryong assembly tomorrow. Yes, I understand. Though he said the words, his mind was frantically searching through past memories. Gyeomryong assembly. What is that? Suddenly his eyes widened in horror. Oh my God. Is it really the Gyeomryong assembly? A while later, the haunting memories of the assembly still echoed in his head. Just cut my throat already, Yang Qian said irritably. Muyan looked confused. Young master, do you hate the Gyeomryong assembly that much? Without a moment's hesitation, Yang Qian answered bluntly, Yes. It turned out that Muyan was holding the invitation to the Gyeomryong assembly, which was the source of his master's distress. The Gyeomryong assembly was an event to commemorate those who risked their lives for the benefit of the Gyeom family and the people of Shanxi, and to honor the sword squads for closing the Demon Realm Gate. It was held twice a year in spring and winter. The event was also held to select new sword squad members, so those with direct blood ties had to participate. The protagonist was still adamant about not going. Just cut my throat. It would be over if I just died. I really don't want to participate at all, he said irritably. Muyan replied, bewildered. If you do that, the patriarch will really kill you. This time the assembly will be overseen by Elder Li. Hearing this, Yang Qian could no longer contain his anger. What Elder Li? This is so infuriating. If you run away this time, young master the patriarch will really kill you, Mu Yan continued. Tisk. I was wondering who it would be, Yang Qian thought bitterly. If I remember correctly, among the elders of the Guillaume family, Elder Li is the most vicious old man. He was extremely strict with himself. But, as the only son of the Guillaume patriarch, if I had walked the right path, the Guillaume family would have prospered even more. In any case, I am grateful to him. Even though he was busy with his duties as an elder, he never forgot to teach me everything from how to speak to how to act to be fit for the position of patriarch. If only I had understood that back then. Perhaps my life would have turned out differently after dying and coming back like this. Every time I showed up, he would scold and lecture me endlessly. That's something even my own father never did. Thinking this, Yang Qian spoke aloud. If he saw me living like a fool like this, what would he say? He'd probably be very disappointed. He might even give me a good beating. Hearing this, Mu Yan didn't understand what his master was muttering about. Sir, did you have any instructions for me? No. I was just talking to myself, Yang Qian replied. When do we depart? We'll leave as soon as the servants are ready. I have prepared everything, Mu Yan answered. I see, Yang Qian said indifferently, but his eyes were drawn to a commotion up ahead. It seemed that after Sol Ah put on her new clothes, there was quite a change. He could hear murmurs of praise. Sol Ah is so pretty. How can a child be so lovely? When she grows up, she'll make so many people fall for her. She's just too cute. Seeing this, Yang Qian shouted irritably, Aren't you ready yet? Another maid replied, I'm sorry, young master. We were a little delayed because we were taking care of Seola. Please calm down. Upon hearing the words, taking care of, Yang Qian immediately thought of her clumsiness. Seola, is she hurt again? Realizing the young master had misunderstood, the maids didn't know how to explain. No, that's not what we meant. Young master, please look at this. They then pushed Seola forward. It had to be said that after dressing up a bit, she looked absolutely beautiful. With her innocent, sparkling eyes, she captured everyone's attention. Seola's face was incredibly adorable. Even Yang Qian, who had died and come back to life, couldn't believe his eyes. The image of her from his past life was of a strong and powerful woman who could injure countless people with a single swing of her sword. He never imagined she could look so gentle. Yang Qian just stood there stunned. On her side, Seola, with her sparkling eyes and blushing cheeks, smiled shyly at him. Then she ran towards him, excitedly calling out, Young master! The sudden approach caught Yang Qian off guard. Startled, he blurted out, Ah! Seola continued innocently, The older sisters said I'm very pretty. What do you think, young master? Annoyed, Yang Qian turned his face away. What are you talking about? What's so pretty? But those words were just a cover for his own embarrassment. He himself was surprised by her innocent and carefree beauty, which was clearly shown by the blush that had spread across his own face. Busted Seola tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, her cute face emphasizing the question. Don't you think I'm pretty, young master? At this point, Yang Qian couldn't take it anymore. He was about to explode with anger. Why is she so persistent? He snapped. What are you doing? Let's go. But do you think I'm pretty, young master? Seola asked innocently again. This time, Yang Qian shouted even louder, Let's go! At that, Seola finally stopped, knowing she had gone too far with her teasing. Her face still showed a hint of disappointment. And so the carriage set off for the venue of the Gumryong assembly. Seola was fascinated by everything around her. She excitedly stuck her head out the window and exclaimed, Wow, this is amazing. The carriage is moving. It's so fast. Seeing her excitement, a maid asked, Sola, is this your first time in a carriage? Yes, Sola replied innocently. I only thought horses were delicious. I didn't know they could run so fast. The maid was left speechless by her answer, her jaw dropping. This child. All she ever thinks about is food. Yang Qian also looked out the window and asked, Mu Yan, where did you say this Gyeomryong assembly is being held? At the Cheon-il Merchant Guild, young master, Mu Yan replied as he rode alongside. Hearing this, Yang Qian felt dejected. The Qian-il Merchant Guild is the most famous merchant guild in Shanxi. It seems Elder Li put a lot of effort into this. It will probably take about 2 hours. Would you like to get some sleep? Mu Yan added. I suppose I have to. Yang Qian sighed wearily. I was training yesterday and didn't get much sleep. I'm so tired. In his mind, he thought, I don't get it. Why can't I sleep well these days? At this age, I should be eating well and sleeping soundly. Why is my life so hard? He thought this, but could he really get a peaceful sleep with Seola around? On her side, Seola was exclaiming excitedly, Big sister, the horse has a strange smell. I love it, but the taste. Before she could finish her sentence, Yang Qian stuffed a pastry into her mouth and snapped, Be quiet and eat your pastry. What could he say? Food was her true calling. As long as there was food, she would be as obedient as a puppy. Seola held the pastry and ate it happily. Nom 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 nom. Watching her eat was like watching a little piglet. Only food could satisfy Seola's soul. Yang Qian leaned back in his seat to rest. Phew, finally some peace and quiet. I'll just take a nap. With that thought, his eyes grew heavy and hazy, and he quickly drifted off to sleep. He didn't know how long he had slept, but when he opened his eyes, the first person he saw was Seola. More accurately, it was Seola who had woken him up. She called out excitedly, Young master, the pastries are all gone. Oh, and also... She trailed off her innocent mind, forgetting what she was about to say. Seeing this, the maid beside her prompted, Salah, did you tell the young master that we've arrived? At the maid's hint, Salah seemed to remember what she wanted to say. Ah, that's right. But before she could finish, Yang Qian had already sat up. We're here, he thought, pulling back the curtain to look outside. By now, evening had fallen and the city lights were on. The atmosphere was lively and bustling. Yang Qian quickly got out of the carriage. He stretched his arms high, taking a deep breath of the fresh air. This must be a big festival in Shanxi. There are so many people gathered here. As he was stretching, Seola poked her head out of the carriage and took a deep, ecstatic sniff. Ooh, what a wonderful smell. It was unclear whether she was smelling the food stalls nearby or Yang Qian's armpits, but either way it was fragrant. Heh. At that moment, an unfamiliar voice spoke up. You must be tired from your long journey. I am the vice guild leader of the Qian-il Merchant Guild. It is an honor to meet the young master of the Geum family. Yang Qian clasped his hands respectfully in return. I am Geum Yang Qian of the Geum family. It is an honor to meet you, vice guild leader. Thanks to the help of Elder Li and the young lady of the Geum family, Qian-il was able to remain safe. The man continued. You must be exhausted. I will take you to your accommodations. Please follow me. Hearing this, Yang Qian's face fell. He probably felt ashamed of his past self, who had been a reckless playboy and accomplished nothing worth being mentioned or thanked for. He was reminded of the sour, monkey-like face of the young lady of the Geum family. As he walked inside, he thought, Ugh, don't tell me I'm going to run into her again. This is so annoying. And though he didn't want it to happen, it did. He ran right into her, and his sister had even arrived one step ahead of him. Although they were half-siblings, their relationship was far from good. The moment she saw Yang Qian, her expression turned incredibly sour. Yupsio gritted her teeth, her face scowling. But despite their mutual dislike, they had to put on a show for outsiders. Ha-ha, brotherly love. So dependable. Hello, big sister, Yang Qian said awkwardly. What hello? Yopsio snapped back. Don't greet me. Just looking at you is annoying. If you're planning to cause trouble at the Gumryong assembly, then give up that thought. There's nothing worse than tarnishing the family's name. Despite his sister's disdain, Yang Qian replied calmly, I'll just quietly sneak away. You don't need to worry. That mocking smile on his face only infuriated Yopsio more. Her face flushed red as she shouted, Who said I was worried? Me worry about you. How ridiculous. At that moment, her eyes were drawn to the girl with Yang Qian. Who is that strange girl, she wondered. Yopsio's fierce gaze frightened Seola, who hid behind Yang Qian for protection. Seeing this, Yopsio became even more aggressive. She stepped forward and sneered, So you haven't changed your old habits. You came all this way just to play your silly games. Yang Qian wasn't one to back down either. He put his hands on his hips and said seriously, "What are you talking about? What silly games?" Surprised by Yang Qian's unusual assertiveness and not wanting to argue any further, Yapsio said indifferently, "I thought you had changed recently, but I guess you haven't changed at all." With those vague words, she slammed the door shut without even waiting for a reply. Yang Qian still couldn't understand what his auntie was implying. What nonsense is she spouting? Girls are so hard to understand. Sunny in the morning, rainy in the afternoon, and damp by noon. After that, the vice guild leader led them to their rooms to rest, and then bid them farewell. "I'll be on my way." "I'm so sorry. You had to witness something so unpleasant," Yang Qian said awkwardly. "Please forgive me." The vice guild leader just chuckled. "Oh, not at all. Haha. It's common for siblings to bicker. You must be tired, so please rest. Before that, would you like to visit one more place?" Quickly, Yang Qian's group headed to the main stage where the Gum Ryong assembly would take place. Before them stood a massive, elegantly designed arena. The event was clearly organized on a grand and lavish scale. Seol Ah's eyes widened in amazement. "Wow, I've never seen a place this big before," she exclaimed. "Ha ha, that's right," Yang Qian replied with satisfaction. "You can gauge the financial power of a merchant guild by the scale of the events they host. But isn't this a bit too big? Today is a day to praise the sacrifices of the sword squads. Tomorrow there will be a competition to select the new sword squad which everyone has been waiting for. Luckily, none of my family is participating. I just have to stand here and watch. Just watching. Nothing major will happen, right?" While Yang Qian was smugly pleased with his plan, a figure appeared silently behind him. An incredibly intimidating aura emanated from him. A cold, powerful voice spoke. "You won't escape this time." Hearing the familiar voice, a chill ran down Yang Qian's spine, and his face broke out in a cold sweat. The man, radiating killing intent, reached out and grabbed Yang Qian's head, a thrilled smile on his face. Surprisingly, the protagonist turned and stared back defiantly. "I have to block it," he thought. But unexpectedly, the elder switched tactics, patting Yang Qian's head affectionately. This unusual behavior made Yang Qian a bit uncomfortable. The elder asked cheerfully, "What's the matter? Usually the moment you see this old man, you run faster than a rabbit." Confused, Yang Qian replied calmly, "Didn't you say you'd break my neck if I ran?" The old man feigned shock. "Hey, who would say something so cruel? It was the second elder, you," Yang Qian answered. The man ruffled Yang Qian's hair and chuckled warmly. "Oh my, you know how to joke now, do you?" But that smile sent a shiver down Yang Qian's spine. He'd rather the man be his usual forceful self. This sudden kindness was terrifyingly nauseating. "Since when did our relationship become so good? This old man has always been obsessed with me. The biggest reason is probably because I'm the patriarch's only son." Suddenly, Seola, standing behind them, widened her eyes and exclaimed, "A bear! Bear meat is delicious, and horse meat is delicious too." Seol Ah's naive remark surprised them both. The elder turned his gaze towards the girl. His terrifying stare made Seol Ah tremble, her face turning pale with fear. The elder continued to glare at her with his piercing eyes until Seol Ah finally burst into tears. Her eyes glistened as tears streamed down her face. Seeing this, Yang Qian stepped in front of Seol Ah. "Elder, you're scaring her." He looked like a hero protecting the damsel in distress. There. I'm here." "Hey," he said, but the elder was still staring at Seola. "Why are you scaring her? You frightened her," the elder laughed. "Is that child your fiancé?" Yang Qian pointed to the clothes Seola was wearing. "What are you talking about, elder? Look at her clothes. She's just a servant." "Is that so?" the elder said, turning away indifferently. "If you say so, then it must be true. How interesting. The Gumryong assembly is tomorrow. Although you're only allowed to watch, you still have to attend, so go get some rest." At that moment, Seola had already bolted inside. Yang Qian clasped his hands in a respectful farewell. Yes. Good night, elder. I'll take my leave." As he was about to leave, the elder added, "Oh, and if you're thinking of running away, you know what will happen." He then drew a finger across his neck, signaling a clear threat. After that, Yang Qian quickly went to Seola. She was still terrified, stammering, Is Is the bear old man going to eat the young master? He'll eat you first, Yang Qian teased. From a distance, the elder noticed the change in the boy. A change so drastic, it was like he had become a completely different person. Indeed, there's something not quite right about those two words. Finally, the day of the Gyeum-ryong assembly arrived. Many contestants had come to register, forming a long, winding queue. Looking at the line in front of him, Yang Qian exclaimed in surprise, "I heard the Gyeum-ryong competition starts early in the morning, but at this rate, it won't start until noon." Muyan was also quite amazed by the sheer number of contestants this year. That's why they say it's not just the clans of Shanxi and the direct lineage of the Gyeum family, but also those who want to prove their strength. I heard anyone can participate, but I never expected so many people. Becoming a member of the Sword Squad is a great thing, Yang Qian added. Indeed, young master, Muyan agreed. Suddenly Seol Ah trembled and mumbled, "Young master, that thing. The bear old man is here too." It seemed the elder's glare from the other day had left a lasting impression on her. She was pale with fear, hiding behind Yang Qian. "What's wrong with you?" Yang Qian asked. "Can you tell him to go into hibernation?" Seola stammered. "What are you talking about? It's spring. How can he hibernate if you're so scared you should have stayed home? Why did you follow me?" "But Grandpa said I shouldn't leave the young master's side." A frantic, fearful conversation ensued. She's right, Yang Qian thought. Since it was the Sword Venerable's order, I can't ignore it. He then pointed towards Muyon and said, "It's fine. If the bear old man appears, this guard will take care of him." The innocent Seola believed him. "Wow, really? That's great. That's great." Meanwhile, Muyon had no clue what his master was talking about and why he was suddenly dragged into it. He leaned in and whispered, "Young master, who is the bear old man?" "The second elder," Yang Qian replied nonchalantly. "How can I possibly lay a hand on the elder?" Muyon continued. "Besides, you shouldn't speak so informally." Hearing Muyon, Yang Qian turned back to Seola and teased, "There's no other way. I can't protect Seola's neck." But the girl was so naive, she believed it was true. Tears and snot started streaming down her face like rain. "Sniffle no. Sniffle today is the day Seola dies. Sola wants to follow the young master. Sola doesn't want to die yet. Wah, if everyone is safe, then Sola's neck." Seeing he had taken the joke too far, Yang Qian said, All right, I was just kidding." But Seola was still sobbing. "Young master, today my neck will be eaten. I was just joking. Don't be so naive," the protagonist said, exasperated. Then Seola pointed directly at a nearby stall selling fragrant buns. "I heard that if you die with a full stomach, you become a very beautiful ghost. And if you eat steamed buns, you become even more beautiful." Helpless Yang Qian bought her steamed buns to appease her. But this simple act was something his past self would have never done. Mu Yan was quite surprised. "Young master, you treat a mere servant too well." Only Yang Qian himself didn't realize the change in his own behavior. "Who are you talking about her?" he replied. "Yes, it's about Wee Seol Ah," Mu Yan replied nonchalantly. "Which one of your eyes sees this as treating her well?" Yang Qian retorted irritably. "Buying buns for a servant." But as he said it, a thought occurred to him. Because this version of Wee Sol Ah is overlapping with the one from my past life, I don't really know how to treat her. Mu Yan smirked and teased. "You say you don't care about a servant, yet you still bought her buns." "No, that's not it," Yang Qian insisted, denying it vehemently. "Don't get the wrong idea. What are you thinking? I'm really not being nice to a servant. I just don't know how to explain it to you. It's a very long story." But in that very moment, Mu Yan saw the real Gyum Yang Qian in a new light. "I see now," the young man said. "You're completely different from the rumors. It's true that you can't judge a person by rumors alone. Perhaps I'm the one who needs to learn more. Just take the buns." "You talk too much, Mu Yan," Yang Qian snapped. "Wait, you said you heard rumors? You haven't been my guard for that long, have you?" Mu Yan counted on his fingers for a moment. I've only been at the estate for less than half a month, I think." Hearing this, Yang Qian grew thoughtful. "Not long after I regressed. That's why he's saying this. I don't know if that's lucky for Mu Yan or for me. Suddenly, a shrill voice cried out, "Young lady!" Startled, the protagonist exclaimed, "Damn, that scared the crap out of me." In the distance, the sharp, whiny voice continued, "Young lady, it's dangerous for you to wander around like that." A girl addressed as young lady replied, "You're overreacting. The Geum Ryong assembly is happening. So many people from the Geum family will be here. What could possibly happen?" When she spoke, young Jian felt a sense of familiarity. Her voice sounds familiar. "It can't be, can it?" the servant continued. "That's why it's even more dangerous. What if we run into a young master from the Geum family?" Eavesdropping. The protagonist suddenly felt a pang of guilt at being mentioned. Ah, no way, he thought. There are so many men in the Geum family. It couldn't possibly be me, right? It's probably not me. "How could that be?" the girl insisted. "There are so many people here." At that moment, the protagonist finally recognized her. His eyes widened in utter shock. "Huh, no way." The girl turned her head and continued, "So quickly." Before she could finish, she noticed the special guests standing nearby and stopped. The two parties stared at each other, their eyes locked. It was clear they knew each other and had left a very strong impression. The air grew thick with tension. The girl was just as shocked as he was. Meanwhile, Mu Yan, being new, didn't understand the situation. He leaned close to Yang Qian's ear and whispered, "Young master, that young lady doesn't have an escort. Do you have any idea who she is?" Yang Qian looked her up and down. How could I not know I could forget anyone else? But how could I forget her shoulder-length hair, dark eyes, and a black jade ring on her hand? The ring had a special characteristic. You had to look closely to see its pattern. With what I know, I can easily understand the meaning of that ring. This young lady is from the Habak Peng clan, my former fiancée. If I remember correctly, our first meeting was incredibly unpleasant and memorable as hell. The reason for the engagement with the Habak Peng clan was simple. The status of the Geum and Peng clans were comparable, and we were of similar age. If nothing had changed, I would have become the patriarch, and the Peng clan would only need to marry into the Geum family. The problem was, I caused a lot of trouble. Vicious rumors spread that I was just a troublemaker with no talent for cultivation. Not only was it bad for the Peng clan, but the end of this engagement was sealed by my own words and actions towards that young lady. The girl approached and said irritably, "Why are you here?" "I should be the one asking that," Yang Qian replied calmly. "What are you doing here?" "I have business here, of course," the young lady Peng retorted. "Shanxi isn't your land. Do I have to report my whereabouts to you?" Faced with her confrontational attitude, the protagonist was at a loss for words. "Oh, if that's the case, then I have nothing more to say." But the young lady from the Peng clan wasn't finished. "But why do you speak so informally to me?" she snapped. "I'm a year older than you." The protagonist chuckled nonchalantly. "Oh, is that so? My apologies, I forgot. Is big sister better?" He then turned to Seol-ah. "Hey, now that we've bought the buns, let's go." But Seol-ah hadn't just bought 1 or 2 buns. It looked like she had taken the entire stall's inventory with her. Truly nothing could satisfy her foodie soul. "Hee, yes, I'm done shopping," Seol-ah replied cheerfully. With that, the protagonist turned to leave, not forgetting to say, "Well, then have a nice stay, big sister. Hey, I won't bother you anymore. Hope we don't meet again. We're leaving now." Perhaps seeing the mountain of buns Seol-ah was carrying the young lady from the Peng clan was absolutely dumbfounded. "Are you a pig? Why are you eating so much? That's insane." She just stood there stunned, watching them walk away. A thought crossed her mind. Why is he like this? Is he here on business or on a vacation? Have a nice stay. My brother's business is already giving me a headache, and that brat just had to add his taunts. It's so annoying. And that's the first time I've seen that girl next to him. She can't be just a servant, right? A servant with such beautiful looks. Something has changed from before. His personality is different too. Am I hearing things? He bought so many buns to treat a servant? Unbelievable. He once yelled in my face during our first meeting, "What the hell are you? You're just the daughter of a concubine." At that time, feeling insulted, I was so furious I grabbed him by the collar and, gritting my teeth, emphasized every single word. "What did you say?" But his attitude was so mocking. Did I say something wrong? I couldn't keep my composure and punched him right in his stinking mouth. Even though it was a political marriage and I had heard the bad rumors about the young master of the Gyum family, I had tried to endure it for the sake of the Peng clan. I even grabbed a chair intending to finish him off right then and there despite the servant's pleas to calm down. Engagement. You're dead. I was absolutely furious that day, and since that day we never saw each other again. Until today, when we met by chance. But it seems he hasn't changed at all. Meanwhile, Yang Qian was dividing the buns in Seola's hands. "Isn't it heavy?" he asked. "It's okay," Seola replied with a strained smile. "You say it's okay, but you look like you're struggling. Here, let's split them." Seeing this, Muyon quickly chimed in, "Young master, let me carry them for you." "A guard needs to be vigilant of his surroundings." Yang Qian stopped him. "If there are extra, give them to the other servants to carry." But in that very moment, the young lady from the Peng clan felt something strange, something distinctly different. No, it can't be. He's probably just in a good mood today. That crazy guy. Matured. There's no way. And yet, it seems there's some truth to it. He has changed a lot. He knows how to listen and care for others. Even a servant is treated with concern. Suddenly a loud shout echoed from the distance. "What did you say?" All three of them startled and turned to look. "Damn, that scared me. What the hell, that's the third time I've been startled today?" the protagonist exclaimed. "Are you all right, young master?" Muyon asked worriedly. "I'm fine," Yang Qian replied, trying to see what was going on. Seol Ah also asked with concern, but her concern was unique. "Young master, are the buns okay?" At Seol Ah's ridiculous question, Yang Qian snapped, "Be quiet. You're so charming." In the distance, the person in charge of registrations for the Gyum Ryong Assembly spoke up. "This isn't something that can be solved by shouting. First, calm down." But the applicant, probably fed up with the long wait, was furious. He didn't want to wait another second. He slammed his hand on the table and yelled, "I told you I don't have time. If I get caught because of this, will you take responsibility?" Hearing this, the recruiting elder asked, puzzled, "Caught? Caught for what? What the hell are you talking about?" Meanwhile, behind him, a long line of people were still waiting for their turn to register. Arguments broke out. "I never said that. Are you kidding me? Let me participate now." "No." Feeling a bit of injustice, Muyon became restless. "Shouldn't we go see what's going on?" "Why?" Yang Qian replied calmly. "It's true that anyone can participate in the Gyum Ryong Assembly, but it's natural that someone with an unknown identity wouldn't be allowed to." "But we can't let him behave like that. That's what I mean," Muyon insisted. "If one or two troublemakers cause a scene at the assembly, the martial artists standing by will handle it," Yang Qian explained. Over at the scene, after a heated argument, a guard angrily placed a hand on the man's shoulder to stop him. "Stop it!" But at this point, how could he possibly calm down? The man grabbed the guard's arm without a shred of hesitation, lifted him into the air, and threw him to the ground with a thud. It was a display of immense, not to be underestimated strength. "What do you think you're doing?" another person shouted in alarm. The young man replied coldly, "I've proven my skills, haven't I? Can I participate in the Gyum Ryong Assembly now? There's no way someone who causes trouble like this can participate. Why, I've shown my strength." "Eavesdropping," Muyon said. "Ah, it's our turn to step in, right?" "Wow, just now, that person threw the other person. That was so cool," Seol Ah exclaimed in awe. But the protagonist didn't care. He turned to leave. "Let's go." "But young master, are you just going to ignore that?" Muyon asked, confused. "I don't want to get involved in strange things, so let's go inside." But Muyon still seemed uneasy. "Even so," he muttered. "Don't you know how to handle things quickly?" Yang Qian snapped. In the distance, the war of words continued. "Even so, you can't participate. We have our own rules. If we can't confirm your identity, you can't enter. Isn't it enough to verify my strength with my strength? That's even more serious. Are you looking down on the young master of the Peng clan?" Hearing this, everyone startled and turned to look. When the young lady of the Peng clan heard the mention of the young master Peng, her face lit up. The person she was looking for was right here. No one could believe that this rough, scruffy-looking man could be the young master of the Peng clan. Meanwhile, Siola stood there with a blissful, innocent smile. It didn't matter to her who he was as long as the buns were still intact. After hearing the mention of the young Master Peng, all the old memories came flooding back to the young lady of the Peng clan. It was a day when heavy snow blanketed the sky. At that time, young Lady Peng had said, "What are you doing, brother?" The young Master Peng, holding a sweet potato skewered on a stick, replied cheerfully, "Ah, good morning. It's so cold, so I'm warming myself by the fire. Hehe, and grilling a sweet potato at the same time. I won't ask why you're grilling a sweet potato in front of my room, but what are you planning to do with that nameplate in your hand? Oh, you mean this? The sweet potato is taking too long to cook, so I was thinking of using this to make the fire bigger." And as soon as the words left his mouth, he was slapped across the face. Confused and hurt, the young man whined, "You hit your senior brother. You deserve it. Do you have any idea what's in your hand? Firewood, what else? That's the nameplate of the Peng clan's patriarch. It's the reward for graduating at the top of the class from the Dragon God Academy run by the Murim Alliance and becoming the youngest successor in its history. Now you know what that nameplate is for. I can use it to make the fire bigger, right?" At her senior brother's mocking attitude, she rushed forward and hit him a few more times. "You really won't learn until you're beaten to death. You need to act like a young master. A young master. Right. Sometimes I don't even know what you're thinking. Even though you're young, you have all sorts of skills and talents. You were even chosen as the young clan leader, yet you don't look happy at all." At his junior sister's nagging, the young man forced a smile. "It's not that. It's just, I want to leave this place." "Then why don't you just leave and come back?" his junior sister asked, puzzled. At this suggestion, an idea sparked in his mind. "Oh, brilliant. I have a plan, hehe." And so, after that conversation that evening, her senior brother left without a word of goodbye, leaving behind only a single note that read, "I'm just stepping out for a bit." After reading the note, his junior sister was furious. It seems that bastard senior brother's idea of a bit is 4 months. And just like that, 4 months passed. Her brother vanished without a trace, until one day she received a report. "Young lady the beggar's clan has news." At that moment, she was ecstatic. "Finally, I can find that bastard." "Where is he?" "In Shanxi," the servant whispered in reply. Upon learning this, she was overcome with rage and screamed, "Shanxi! What is he doing so far away?" Back in reality, the truth was that her brother was standing right in front of her. The young master of the Peng clan was boiling with anger. "What the hell is this? I've shown you everything I've got, so let me join the Geum Ryong assembly." Faced with his determination, even the elder backed down slightly. "Calm down. We don't have the authority." "No, I don't have time," the young man shouted furiously. "Do I have to show you the Black Knight sword for you to believe me? Damn it, this is so annoying." Hearing this, Mu Yon said, "Young master, did you hear that? He said the Black Knight sword. Isn't that the exclusive sword technique that only the true successors of the Peng clan possess?" Gyumyang Qian replied nonchalantly, thinking to himself, "Is that guy really from the Peng clan? Whatever, I should get out of here before I get dragged into this mess." But before he could leave, the second elder grabbed him. He grabbed Yang Qian by the face and dragged him forward. "Oh, you brought the Black Knight sword with you. It seems you're not an imposter after all." At this point, the protagonist was truly screwed. He hadn't even had a chance to run. The second elder approached cheerfully. "He seems quite capable. Just let him join." Hearing this, the young man from the Peng clan immediately clasped his hands in a respectful bow. "I am Peng Mu Jin, young master of the Peng clan. I greet the Blazing Fist, grandmaster of the Gyum family." After hearing a title he hadn't been called by in a long time, the second elder roared with laughter. "Ha! It's been a long time since I've heard that title. You can participate, don't worry about it. Ha ha ha." Another person tried to intervene. "Second elder, you can't. We still don't know if he's really the young master of the Peng clan." "I'm quite sure the kid is telling the truth," the second elder said smugly. "A person like him—" "Yes, that kid is the spitting image of his father, and look at his foundation. That's the physique of a Peng clan member." Standing to the side, the protagonist thought wearily. This senile old man? He's judging based on physique alone. "And the ring on his hand," the elder continued. "That's enough to prove his identity." Hearing the second elder mention this, Yang Qian startled and looked closer. "Oh, that ring is the same as Peng Ah Young's. This idiot really is the young master of the Peng clan. The second elder added smugly, Now will you tell us why the young master of the Peng clan wants to participate in a competition whose purpose is to select a new leader for the Gyum clan's sword squad? The Peng clan is no fun, Mujin replied bluntly. It's so boring I hate it. Hearing this reason, the elder laughed even more heartily. Ha ha ha, that's not a bad reason. Yang Qian, however, had a different thought. My God, he's insane. The esteemed young master of the Peng clan is spouting such nonsense. Did you get permission from your clan? The second elder asked. Mujin grinned cheekily. I don't think they would have agreed, so I just ran away from home. Hearing this, the second elder couldn't stop laughing. He laughed so hard that tears streamed down his face. Ha 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 ha! He ran away from home. Did you hear that, Yang Qian? But Yang Qian wasn't in the mood to laugh. He just felt that this guy was an idiot. Is this guy stupid? It seems you've trained quite well. How old are you? I am 23 this year. So young. The Peng clan has really raised a monster. I hope my own fool of a kid learns something from you. Those heavy words seemed to be aimed at someone standing behind him. Anyone could guess who. As if on cue, Mu Yan whispered in his ear, I'm sure he's not talking about you, young master. I don't think you're like that. Sola also leaned in to whisper, Grandpa called you a fool. Why would Grandpa say that? This Grandpa is so weird. Yang Qian's face darkened with anger. Shut up, both of you. You two hurt me more than Grandpa does, he snapped. Inside, he thought, Anyway, I don't care what Grandpa says about me. If he really is Peng Mujin, then he's a monster. It won't be long before he earns the title of Sword Emperor Peng Mujin, so that means he's from the Peng clan. Isn't there another person from the Peng clan here? Speak of the devil and the devil appears. His junior sister rushed over, calling out, Senior brother. Mujin burst out laughing. Oh, look who it is! Surprise old hag! Now let's see if he could still laugh. His junior sister had a temper as hot as fire. Without another word, she punched him straight in the face. Blood spurted from his mouth. The force of the punch was terrifying. After the blow, Mujin was sent flying for miles at the speed of a rocket. Then, boom! An earth-shattering explosion occurred. His junior sister, fuming with rage, ran over and yelled, You crazy bastard! You received the title of young master and you dare to run away from home, leaving only a single note. Now it seemed nothing could stop her wrath. Just looking at her was enough to make one tremble. Mujin, his face bruised and swollen, pleaded in pain. Wait, please, listen to me. His junior sister's eyes were like bullets, smoke practically steaming out of them as she growled, What do you want to say? At this point, Mujin was probably scared to death. He was sweating and trembling uncontrollably. Please, spare me, he stammered. Spare him. When his time had come, who could stop it? Peng A-young gave her senior brother a thorough beating up one side and down the other, shouting nonstop. You ran away from home and now you want to join another clan's sword squad. Have you lost your mind? Ouch, you're going to kill me. Die, you damn senior brother. Watching from a distance, Yang Qian commented, I think he's really going to die. Should we stop them? Just leave them be. The second elder replied indifferently. The Peng clan people are tough. You could beat them with an iron rod and they wouldn't die. Meanwhile, Mujin was being beaten like a dog by his junior sister so badly that even his ancestors wouldn't recognize him. Helpless, he cried out for help. Grandmaster, save me. Please save my life. Are you sure? Yang Qian said. Perhaps you're right, the second elder replied. He then approached the two siblings from the Peng clan. That's enough. Any more and he'll really die. Peng A-young, covered in blood but still seething with anger, retorted, Humph! Who are you to interfere? The second elder stood tall and announced sternly, Master Gyum. His past must have been incredibly glorious. Just hearing the name Master Gyum was enough to make Peng A-young finally stop. She clasped her hands respectfully. My apologies for the late introduction. I am Peng A-young. I greet the Blazing Fist Grandmaster. I apologize for letting you witness us fighting over trivial family matters. The second elder patted her head. It's all right. I'm glad to meet someone so feisty. I can't let this go, Peng A-young continued. I assure you I will compensate you appropriately. Now we'll be taking our leave. But Mujin stubbornly refused to leave. I'm not going. I'm not going anywhere. Humph! Haven't you been punched enough? Peng A-young snapped in frustration. Do I look like I've had enough? Mujin said seriously. Seeing his attitude, Peng A-young had to admit it. He was truly determined this time. But, explain it to me. Why? Ah, Young asked. Mujin slowly stood up. The Peng clan is no fun. So the Goom clan and other clans are fun. They're definitely more fun than ours. Come on, you have to grow up. You're the young master. That's why I have to enjoy myself before I become the patriarch. The only way to avoid becoming the patriarch is to be crippled or to die. But I don't like that. I don't want to become the patriarch. But besides you and me, everyone else in the family is a beast in human skin. So I'll definitely become the patriarch one day. I can't let you take on that position. That's why I accepted becoming the young master even though I didn't want to. At this point, Yang Qian spoke up. Second elder, are you really going to let him participate? I don't think getting involved with the Peng clan is a good idea. The second elder stroked his beard thoughtfully. I'd like to, but considering the Peng clan's situation, I don't know. How about this? I'll let you participate if you can defeat me. What nonsense is this? A-young said irritably. Fight who fight you. You know full well my senior brother is no match for you. Yang Qian was just as surprised. Second elder, are you really crazy? Meanwhile, the second elder was very enthusiastic about his own idea. Just 10 moves. What do you think? Mujin thought for a moment. Just that, he exclaimed. Would an elder like me lie? The second elder replied sonorously. As for the rules, let's see. At the same time, A-young had already given an order to her guard. Myobi, grab that bastard for me. Yes. Young lady, you mean the young master. How about this? The second elder continued. If you can touch me within 10 moves, I'll consider you the winner. And with that, Peng Mujin shot forward like the wind appearing behind the second elder without a single wasted movement. He launched himself into the air, swinging his sword to attack from behind. Meanwhile, the second elder stood as calm as a mountain, his arms crossed over his chest, looking completely unfazed. Surprisingly, before the sword could even land, Mujin froze in shock. The second elder, with incredible reflexes, had turned and thrown a punch. He even laughed loudly. Ha ha ha! You're too impatient, you arrogant brat. Indeed, the older the ginger, the spicier it gets. He was still as cool as ever. A few days later, the Gyum-ryong assembly was finally held, and it was a great success. And next up is a very special event. What everyone has been waiting for, the match between the two stars who will lead the future of the Goom family, the Red Sun Sword Goom, Yopseo, and the sole young master of the Goom family, Goom Yang Qian. At this moment, the protagonist was still confused as to why he had to do this. Moreover, he was fighting against his own sister. A few days earlier, when the second elder issued the challenge to Mujin, the young master of the Peng clan, the young man's recklessness led to a bitter end. A single punch from the second elder sent Mujin flying for miles in a beautiful, eye-catching spiral. And then, boom! A heaven and earth-shaking explosion occurred. After the blow, the second elder stood panting, relieved. It was partly due to his old age. If he were younger, he would have been even more impressive. I win, ha ha! The elder cheered joyfully. Weren't you only supposed to dodge? Yang Qian said irritably. Oh, did I say that? When the second elder feigned ignorance. Anyway, this was a match agreed upon by both parties. I also adjusted my strength, so he'll wake up soon. Even if the Peng clan comes asking questions, I have nothing to do with this, Yang Qian added. Are you scared? The elder replied nonchalantly. What's there to worry about? I am the Blazing Fist Grandmaster. I won't die alone so easily. And I hope only you bite the dust, Yang Qian retorted. No, I mean, Peng A-young, this was entirely the second elder's own doing. Contrary to Yang Qian's worries, Peng A-young replied indifferently. It's fine. I actually feel quite relieved seeing him lying there. If this hadn't happened, who knows what kind of trouble he would have caused next. That's also why the Grandmaster here participated in such a meaningless match. Hearing Peng A-young's heartfelt words, the second elder couldn't hold back his laughter anymore. Ha ha ha! Daughter of the Peng clan, do you really think so? I only did it because I felt like it. At this point, Yang Qian thought with exasperation, How did this old man become an elder of the Geum family? The Geum family is on the verge of collapse. Suddenly, Seol-ah tugged on Yang Qian's sleeve. Young master, quick! Let's run away from that scary bear-old man just now. The bear-old man went pow, 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 and the wind went whoosh, and he flew up, and that person fell down with a thud. It was so scary. As she spoke, Sola waved her hands and feet wildly, acting it out. Listening to her, Yang Qian thought, this little girl describes things so meticulously. How could she possibly save the world? Wouldn't it be better if the world just collapsed? Unexpectedly, the second elder approached. Ha ha ha, you beautiful little girl with the silly eyes. This old man has a gift for you. With that, he reached into his robe to find something. Upon hearing the word gift, Sol-ah cheered excitedly. A gift! A gift! The second elder pulled out a delicious-looking candy. The moment she saw it, Seolah's eyes lit up like car headlights. Wow! She squealed with delight. Suddenly, all the fear in her mind vanished. It seemed Seolah had liked the bear-old man from the start. I knew it, ha, you little brat, the second elder said, now turning to Yang Qian. Are you pouting just because I gave a gift to a servant? There's no other way. I'll give you a gift too. I don't like sweets, Yang Qian replied. After the Gumryong assembly ends, the elder continued, you will have to participate in a match. And that was the very reason Yang Qian was now standing on the stage about to fight his own sister. Are you planning to fight without a sword? Yapsio asked. After hearing the question, Yang Qian suddenly remembered. A sword. Did I ever use a sword at this time? The Geum clan's blazing flame wheel. Art can be used with various weapons, with the sword and fist being the two most common, but I eventually realized that the fist suited me best, so I stopped using a sword. I wonder if that's strange. Actually, I don't care whether you use a sword or your fists, Yupseo said nonchalantly. There goes her unpleasant personality again, Yang Qian thought. I'm just incredibly grateful for this opportunity, Yupseo added with a smirk. An opportunity? Yang Qian asked irritably. Yupseo didn't dodge the question but smiled confidently. Yes, an opportunity. The opportunity to legally discipline my dear younger brother. And in front of the entire world, no less. Ha 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 ha. At this moment, Yang Qian's mind was in turmoil. The elder, really. He remembered when the elder had ordered him to fight his sister. He had been so shocked he had yelled, Why do I have to fight? And with my own sister, no less. But the old man had replied indifferently, Hey, kid. Even if you whisper, I can hear everything. Anyway, this is a festival of the Geum family. It would be a great loss of face if unpleasant rumors were to spread. And whose face would be lost? Not mine, hey. At that time, he had been incredibly frustrated. Tisk, this senile old man. I can tell from his face that he's only doing this because he finds it amusing. Fine then, I'll just give up halfway through. But it seemed the second elder understood Yang Qian's personality all too well. He immediately guessed his intention and warned him, If you're thinking of giving up halfway. He then pointed towards Mu Jin, who was lying injured on the ground, as if to say, If I give up, I'll have the same bitter end as Mu Jin, or even worse. Do you want to see me get beaten in front of everyone? Yang Qian asked irritably. The second elder must have seen the change in him, which is why he made this decision. Yang Qian, do you really have no intention of winning? What does he mean, no intention of winning? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity being wasted. I don't intend to waste my energy in a fight. This never happened in my past life. And why do I have to listen to him? As he was lost in thought, his sister continued. My dear little brother, let me tell you something. Just because you're a man, you get to become the patriarch by default. I hate it so much I could die. At these words, a dark, terrifying aura emanated from Yupseo. It seemed all her pent-up frustration and resentment was finally erupting. Let the games begin. With that, Yupseo lunged forward. In an instant, she was right in front of Yang Qian. Her movements were swift, light, and graceful as the wind. She swung her sword powerfully at her brother. Luckily, Geum Yang managed to dodge. The missed blow only made her more furious. A look of determination was clear on her face. Yupseo relentlessly attacked, each strike decisive and powerful. Yang Qian was nimble enough to easily evade his sister's attacks. Then Yupseo planted one foot as a pivot and spun around, swinging her sword forcefully at Yang Qian. The spinning kick was beautiful, but it still couldn't touch him. After so many consecutive attacks, the fact that Yang Qian was unharmed and could easily dodge her blows surprised Yopsio. How can a second star like him avoid my attacks? Has he reached the third star? Seeing the shocked expression on his sister's face, Yang Qian could guess what she was thinking. I can tell what she's thinking just by looking at her face. She must be very shocked. I only dodged by half a beat, but it's already tiring. This is proof that I still lack training. So how do I end this match? Should I let myself get hit once and then fall? Every attack is filled with danger. Can I get out of this safely? At the same time, Yopsio, while swinging her sword, said, "You still only know how to dodge, don't you?" She closed the distance to Yang Qian, grabbing his robe with one hand, her eyes glaring with resentment. Then she pulled hard on his robe while swinging her sword with the other hand. Faced with this attack, Yang Qian didn't flinch. He quickly shed his outer robe. As a result, Yopsio's sword only slashed the robe as it fell to the ground, not him. But if he had been hit by that blow, he would have been on a one-way trip to meet his ancestors. The more killing intent you pour into it, the easier it is for I to dodge, sister, Yang Qian shouted. So please, can you stop? He thought to himself. She put so much killing intent into it, yet my clothes only got a small tear. Yopsio replied, I've come to understand that because I am a woman, I can never become the patriarch, even if I work myself to death. But you who have always lived like trash pushed me aside and will become the patriarch just because you are a man. Do you understand? At these words, a frighteningly intense killing intent erupted from Yopsio, so much so that the sword in her hand seemed about to burst into flames. It seemed that all her pent-up frustration was now being unleashed. Someone who trained day and night but couldn't become the patriarch because she was a woman, while a lazy playboy got the position. Didn't that mean all her efforts were for nothing? At this point, Yang Qian's face turned pale. Now she's even cloaking her sword in killing intent. This is dangerous. Her level has surpassed the third star. Immediately, Yopsio launched a continuous and overwhelming assault on Yang Qian. Each slash was delivered in an instant full of brutality. Yang Qian could only dodge frantically. While she was attacking with true intent, the fact that he was just dodging without fighting back made Yopsio even more furious. She roared in extreme frustration, "Again and again and again! You always just dodge and do nothing. Damn it! No talent, no effort. If you're going to live so mundanely, why don't you just disappear?" But Yang Qian said nothing, choosing to remain silent. Yopsio lunged forward, her sword imbued with the killing intent radiating from her body. The situation was incredibly tense and dramatic. Yang Qian was sad because he never wanted to fight for the position of patriarch. He wasn't as ambitious as she thought. "Why don't you just disappear just like your mother did?" Yopsio continued. But as soon as the words left her mouth, she froze in shock. Perhaps insulting Yang Qian himself was one thing, but bringing his parents into it was crossing the line. Yang Qian's hand shot out and clamped down on Yopsio's wrist, stopping her attack. And then the two of them stared at each other, sparks flying. In another moment, the sword in Yopsio's hand could have finished him. But life is not a dream. After hearing her mention his mother, it was like a raw nerve had been touched. Yang Qian was furious, his face terrifying as he emphasized each word. "What did you just say?" "Recollection. My eldest sister was the most outstanding person I've ever known. At just 15, she was known throughout the land as the Phoenix Sword. By the time she came of age, she graduated with honors from the Dragon God Academy and was appointed the captain of the Geum clan's first sword squad. The entire world acknowledged her, but she could not become the patriarch of the Geum family. Instead, you will become the patriarch Geum Yang Qian, the son of a concubine. Even so, I didn't hate him. Even though we were half-siblings, Geum Yang Qian's mother was always kind to me, and I liked her too. So Geum Yang Qian's existence wasn't a problem. Until that day happened. One day she suddenly disappeared. My father ordered that no one was to look for her, and no one did. From that moment on, Geum Yang Qian's sharp words and actions spared no one. There were rumors that he had sullied beautiful courtesans. Yet the fact that he was the successor to the patriarch remained unchanged. The position of Geum clan patriarch had been held by a man for generations passing over me who had always strived relentlessly, and my eldest sister as well. And I still had to endure Gyum Yang Cheon, a good-for-nothing, who only knew how to indulge himself without even knowing what benefit he brought to the clan. No, I truly hate him. At that, Yang Cheon exploded, his eyes turning bloodshot as he yelled, "What did you just say?" seeing his furious face. Yopseo felt a flicker of fear. This is dangerous. Very dangerous. Then Yang Cheon coldly pushed her hand away with a light flick, sending her stumbling backward. It's showtime. It's my turn to counterattack. Like a flash of lightning, Yang Cheon was behind her, a terrifying display of speed. He raised his hand, ready to land a powerful blow on Yopseo. This is for bringing up my mother. Now I'll show you my true power. Watching the thrilling and dramatic fight from the stands, someone exclaimed in awe. Wow, she's amazing. Her name is Gyum Yopseo, right? She looks about my age but has such martial skill. I have to admit the Gyum family bloodline is really good. These words of admiration came from the young lady of the Peng clan. You're also very skilled, young lady, her servant added. But she's muttering something. Young continued. I can't hear it clearly. Can you hear it, my OB? Suddenly a warm voice spoke up, explaining the mystery. You won't be able to hear it, little sister. Huh, why not? The second elder has sealed it off with his internal energy, so it's impossible to hear. And stop wandering around telling people you're from the Peng clan with that face. Are you embarrassed of your senior brother? Do I even need to answer that? We're staying in the Gumryong Hall until your face is less swollen, then we can leave. The one fighting with the sword she has to call the Phoenix Sword Big Sister, right? That's right. See how talented she is. She's already reached the 3rd star. Her sword techniques are so smooth, and so is her control over her internal energy. And so the two siblings continued to bicker while the match was still ongoing. No, not her, Mujin continued. I'm asking about the one who's dodging all of the Phoenix Sword's moves. Is that her younger brother? Huh, what a silly question. Young replied, surprised. The servant sitting beside them giggled and said, Young master, they are both younger siblings of the Phoenix Sword. Hearing this, Mujin seemed to realize something and smiled to himself. So that's it. It seems the Gyum family doesn't just have the Phoenix Sword. Seeing her senior brother's happy face, a wave of sadness washed over Ah Young. That's why. I have to find joy before I become the patriarch. After you become the patriarch, you won't be able to do these things anymore. While she was lost in thought, the match had already ended. On the stage, Yopseo was relentlessly dodging Yang Cheon's attacks. The two siblings, one swinging a sword and one swinging a fist, were in a chaotic frenzy. As she dodged, Yopseo thought, I just have to dodge. Just dodge, and the opportunity will be mine. Her face was terrifyingly determined. I understand you, sister, Yang Cheon said calmly. So it's okay if you hate me. I've also lived a life like that. Even though your words are hard to hear, I still understand them. So you have to do the same. Understand why I'm doing this. At these words, Yang Cheon focused his internal energy into his palm. A powerful aura emanated from his body so strong that even Yopseo's eyes widened in shock. Is this really the skill of a kid who's only at the 1st star level, and then boom! The two powerful forces collided. A blinding light radiated outwards. The truth was, Yang Cheon's power had overwhelmed the situation, blowing away Yopseo's strength in front of a shocked crowd. Not only was Yopseo herself surprised, but everyone who witnessed it was also in utter disbelief. The truth was Yang Cheon had defeated his own sister. At that moment, Yopseo lay flat on the ground, defeated, and unable to believe this bitter reality. The referee announced, The match is over. Gyum Yang Cheon is the winner. But this victory brought Yang Cheon no joy at all. A little later he sat alone, dejected, muttering to himself, Oh, I've caused trouble again. This victory wasn't part of my plan. Damn it. With just 2nd star internal energy, I still made her nose bleed and pass out. I can only hope nothing bad happens. He remembered the furious look in his sister's eyes. Why don't you just disappear? He sat there lost in thought. He didn't know what terrible things would happen now that a good-for-nothing who had only just reached the 1st star had defeated his 3rd star sister. Suddenly, Mu Yan rushed up from behind. Young master, are you okay? Are you injured anywhere? No, I'm fine, Yang Cheon replied. But Mu Yan was still worried and kept asking, How's the situation inside? Is it okay? Actually, you probably won't like this. Of course, everyone thought you would be easily defeated, so when you won, the atmosphere in the arena became chaotic. That's right, Yang Qian said nonchalantly. A notorious troublemaker defeated the clear favorite. But the second elder immediately moved on to the closing ceremony of the Gyum Ryong assembly to calm the atmosphere, Mu Yan added. He did that right away, Yang Qian asked sadly. Well, then we have to leave quickly before we run into the second elder. At that moment, Seol Ah innocently said, Young master, your hand is bleeding. Hearing this, Yang Qian looked at his hand, which was steadily dripping blood. That's right. It shows I still can't control my power. But it's okay. It's just like a mosquito bite. Seol Ah was still worried and came closer to wrap his hand with a bandage. But she was famously clumsy and couldn't even do this simple task right. She fumbled so much that she ended up wrapping her own hand together with Yang Qian's, muttering to herself, No, not like this. How do I? Not like this. Finally, after struggling for a while without success, a helpless Seol Ah's eyes welled up with tears. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Seol Ah doesn't know how, so please don't get hurt anymore. Her expression was so adorable that no one could possibly be angry. Suddenly, Mu Jin ran up from somewhere and teased, I don't want the young master of the Gyum family to get hurt either. His ill-timed appearance made the atmosphere awkward. You ruined the mood, you damn bastard, Yang Qian said coldly. Huh, did you just curse at me? Mu Jin retorted. Then Yang Qian smiled politely. It's a pleasure to meet you, young Master Peng. I am Geum Yang Qian. Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you too, Mu Jin replied. But there was one person who was so embarrassed she didn't know where to hide her face. Brother, please let's go, she said shyly. Mu Jin teased her even more. Ah, right. You broke off the engagement with the young master of the Gyum family, so it's only natural that you feel awkward. Ha 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 ha. This is a chance to get back together. Ah. Young was fuming. This brother of mine, he's teasing me again. Witnessing the siblings' banter and being dragged into it himself, Yang Qian sighed in exasperation. Why did you come here? This is an opportunity for people with good skills to make friends and build relationships, Mu Jin replied frankly. No, from now on just call me Brother Peng. Please, brother, Ah Young whispered, still incredibly embarrassed. Being friends with me won't do you any good, Yang Qian continued. Mu Jin came closer and threw an arm around Yang Qian's shoulders as if they were close brothers. Don't say that Ha the Gyum family doesn't just have Gyum He Be. I never expected someone with your skills to be hiding, Yang Qian added, thinking to himself. Damn it, why is he suddenly acting so familiar? He was startled by the very familiar name Mu Jin had just mentioned and asked, You mentioned Gyum He Be. It seems you know her. Without a moment's hesitation, Mu Jin burst out laughing. Of course, we're very close, but I don't know what she thinks about that. Damn, so they're not close at all. This guy is just bluffing, the protagonist thought. Well, that's close enough, right, little brother? Mu Jin continued. It's getting late now. I'm leaving, little brother. But then Yang Qian's eyes widened in surprise. Huh. It turned out that the senior brother had already said his goodbyes and left while his younger sister still stood there, a remorseful look on her face. And it had to be said, after being beaten like a dog, Mu Jin had a remarkably graceful way of walking. Hey. Is there something else you want to say? Yang Qian asked. The day the engagement was broken, I was wrong to hit and curse you. So, I'm sorry. Ah, Young stammered. It turned out she just wanted to offer a sincere apology from the bottom of her heart, which was why she had hesitated to leave. But Yang Qian knew that his past self was also at fault, so he couldn't blame her. For saying that you were the daughter of a concubine and other things. Even though I'm still not mature, I know what's right and wrong. I think I deserve to be hit, so you don't need to apologize. Hearing these words, Ah Young felt a sense of relief and smiled. Not only that, but her smile was as bright as a flower. All right. Her face was incredibly cute and radiant at that moment. Don't lose what he gave you. Ah, Young said, then turned and left, leaving him in a state of confusion. He fumbled inside his robe, searching. Ha! What do you mean? What is this? In his hand was a small plaque with the character Peng on it. It could be inferred that Mu Jin was playing matchmaker for the two of them. Well, goodbye. And with that, their figures receded into the distance. He stood there until he could no longer see them. Yang Qian stood there dazed for a long time. Could it be that I'm falling in love? I still have too much to do. We should go. With that, Yang Qian quickly left. A while later, Yang Qian's group was on their way back home. While everyone else was still awake, Xiaola was fast asleep, her tongue sticking out. She was even leaning carefree on the maid next to her, sleeping soundly. The maid tried to wake her, calling her name, but Xiaola wouldn't budge, so she had no choice but to let her be. Yang Qian, however, was still deep in thought about the fight with his sister. No matter how I think about it, I can't remember fighting her in my past life, let alone winning against her. It started with Wei Sol-ah becoming a servant. So many things are starting to deviate from the past I knew. Could that small act of kindness have changed everything? After I get back, I need to speed things up. Suddenly, he felt a thick, killing intent emanating from nearby. Immediately, Yang Qian stuck his head out the window. Mu Yan check with the demon detection talisman. Startled Mu Yan replied, The demon detection talisman? A moment later, he turned back happily and announced, Young master, there's nothing unusual. I don't know what you felt, but if a demon realm gate had opened nearby, it would have lit up immediately. You don't need to worry. You can rest and... But as he spoke, the demon detection talisman suddenly lit up. This meant that danger was lurking. Everyone stop! Mu Yan shouted. It's a demon realm gate. Immediately get into a defensive formation. The young master's safety is the top priority. Suddenly, Yang Qian also came outside, refusing to stay put. Seeing this, Mu Yan panicked. Hui, what are you doing out here? It's dangerous. Young master. The situation is really dangerous right now. Save your lecture for another time, Yang Qian said indifferently. Look ahead. In front of them, a spatial rift appeared glowing with a green light. Immediately, monsters jumped out through the rift. Each one had blood-red eyes full of killing intent as if they wanted to eat their opponents alive. As he observed, Yang Qian thought green indicates the lowest level of danger. This might be a bit tricky. He had already circulated his internal energy to his hands, ready to fight. A powerful orange light emanated from his hands. Then Yang Qian shot up into the air and launched a powerful strike towards a wolf. He thought to himself, but I can completely control this. The common weakness of these monsters is the demon stone. It's like their heart. When they are taken, they die instantly. With that thought, he successfully retrieved the demon stone from the fierce wolf. But just taking out the demon stone was the easy part. After a frantic assault of retrieving demon stones, his strength was completely depleted. He thought wearily, Damn it, my energy is at its limit. If I keep using the Jum clan's blazing flame wheel. Art like this, it'll be dangerous. However, if I want to survive, I have to use it. At the same time, the whole pack of wolves with blood-red eyes was charging towards him. While he was still unsure how to handle the situation, help fortunately arrived. Young master, be careful, Mu Yan shouted, and without a moment's hesitation, he bravely rushed forward to protect Yang Qian. Each sword strike was delivered in a flash, a web of horizontal and vertical slashes appearing right before their eyes. Witnessing this horrifying scene, the protagonist froze for 5 seconds. Damn, has this guy always been this badass? The truth was, in just a few fleeting seconds, Mu Yan had taken down the entire pack of monsters without a single scratch on himself. Then he turned back and asked, Young master, are you all right? The protagonist was still in a daze, unable to believe how cool his own guard was. Huh. Oh, thank you. You saved my life. You're already done. That was fast. Yes, there weren't too many of them, Mu Yan replied modestly without a hint of pride. Fortunately, they were the lowest-ranking type of monster. More importantly, what were you doing? If you had gotten hurt, I wouldn't know how to explain it to the patriarch. Well, everything turned out okay in the end, Yang Qian said awkwardly. But was it really okay when a powerful demonic energy was radiating from his hand? It's not that simple, Yang Qian continued. At these words, Mu Yan was a bit surprised to see the light radiating from the young master's hand. Young Young master, next time you must evacuate to a safe place. You must realize that you are the heir to... Suddenly, Yang Qian collapsed to the ground, looking like he was in great pain. Young master? What's wrong? Muyan called out in alarm. At this moment, Yang Qian felt incredibly uncomfortable, and a strange energy was constantly radiating from his hand. He cursed under his breath. Damn it, damn it! Why is this goddamn feeling appearing here? Is the heavenly demon art absorbing demonic energy? At this moment, a powerful purple swirling vortex appeared on Yang Qian's palm. The demonic suction art. Suddenly, memories from his past flooded back. A man covered in blood and countless wounds asked in agony, Why did you do this? What did we do wrong? These were images from his past life, from Yang Qian's glorious era. He alone had been able to inflict damage on so many people. Bodies lay piled up in front of him. The last survivor screamed relentlessly, Why did you do this to us? Plum Blossom Sword, Yang Qian replied coldly. Are those your last words? The man's eyes darted around the horrifying scene. He began to tremble and stammer, Sect leader. Then a large dark shadow appeared covering the entire sky. Through a spatial rift, someone riding a giant dragon appeared majestically. The scene was incredibly epic. A voice echoed, Hua Shan, not bad. Below, Yang Qian immediately knelt in reverence. The person on the dragon slowly descended, a terrifying demonic aura radiating from their body. In an instant, they had landed. It was the figure of a queen. Could this be the Seol Ah from my past life? But this isn't enough to satisfy me, she said coldly, though they did provide some amusement. So raise your head. Back in reality, a powerful orange light burst forth, repelling the dark demonic energy. The protagonist was stunned. What the hell is happening? Is the blazing flame wheel? Art, purifying the demonic energy. No, it's absorbing it. This never happened in my past life. At this moment, Muyon and Seola were incredibly worried, constantly calling out, Young master, are you okay? Ah, I'm fine. It's nothing serious, Yang Qian replied weakly. I guess my body is more sore than I thought after the match. Then let me find a physician to check on you, Muyon said anxiously. No, I'm fine now. Don't worry, Yang Qian replied, thinking to himself. For now, I'll just keep this a secret. It wouldn't do me any good if outsiders found out I can absorb demonic energy. Suddenly, Seola's eyes welled up with tears, and she started to sob. She reached out with both hands and pinched Yang Qian's cheeks, pouting, Young master, you look like you're in a lot of pain. Are you really in that much pain? Do I look that bad? Yang Qian asked, confused. It's not that bad, is it? Your face looks terrible, Seola said, heartbroken. But these words of concern hurt Yang Qian terribly. Huh, what did you say? He exclaimed. The other maid came to stop Seola. You're supposed to be helping the young master, not making him feel worse. I was just worried, Seola said, innocently confused. Young master, if you're not feeling well, we should find a nearby physician, Muyan added. But Yang Qian knew his own condition best. It's not that bad. Stop worrying. I just need some sleep and I'll be fine. Let's get ready to leave. With that, Muyan had no choice but to agree. If you say so, then we'll continue on our way. I won't worry anymore. With that, everyone began to pack up, preparing to continue their journey. Urging voices echoed, Everyone prepare to depart. Just take the useful parts from the demon beast corpses. Hurry up. The young master is tired. And Seola, can you stop drooling in your sleep? You're sleeping too much. Only Yang Qian stood dazed, lost in his own thoughts. I can't feel any more demonic energy in my body. Is it because of the Jum clan's blazing flame wheel art? The color of the demon stone has faded too. The demonic energy must have been completely absorbed. Anyway, I have to act. With that thought, he clenched his fist, crushing the demon stone in his hand into dust. The next day, after returning safely, Yang Qian took action. They were passing through a small market. Seola stopped in front of a shop and said, Young master. The shop she stopped at was a bakery. Her eyes sparkled as she pointed at the pastries. These medicinal fruit pastries. Yang Qian knew what she wanted, but deliberately ignored her. So what? Hearing this, Siola was incredibly disappointed. If you're not going to buy pastries for Siola, then why did you bring Siola here? The protagonist turned and said coldly, What are you talking about? When did I bring you? Have you forgotten who made excuses to follow? Who was the one clinging to my leg, begging to come? Muyon was also a bit surprised. Young master, why are you going this way? After what happened, you must be in a bad mood. The Gyumryong assembly just ended a day ago. Unless there's a special reason to go out, I think it would be better for you to return. Are you looking for something? If so, I'll go with you. Seola trudged along behind, but her eyes never left the beautiful, tempting pastries. I know you want to help, but now is not the time for you to act, Yang Qian said. Suddenly he stopped and looked around. He stood with his hands on his hips, annoyed, and stared at an alley in front of him. He even squinted, trying to get a better look. No matter how I look at it, it has to be over there, right? He muttered. What are you talking about? Muyan asked, completely bewildered. Is there something in that alley? The protagonist didn't explain further and just said coldly, Seola, go back. Muyan, you come with me. Huh, why? The innocent girl asked, confused. Go back to the Gyum clan's estate first. I'll be back tonight. Just explain it briefly to everyone. But Grandpa told me I always have to follow you. Sola stammered, unwilling to leave. Helpless Yang Qian turned back. If you go back, I'll give you 10 medicinal fruit pastries. Okay? Sola took the opportunity to ask for steamed buns as well. But at this point, Yang Qian was focused on his own business, so he would have agreed to anything she asked. He gritted his teeth and replied, Fine. Okay, Sola said cheerfully, holding out her hand. She was a simple girl. Sweets were her true love. And so a quick exchange was completed, satisfying the demands of both parties. After that, Seola happily went back while Muyon followed the young master, even though he had no idea where he was being led. Whenever he asked, Yang Qian would only reply vaguely, Just follow me and you'll see. As they walked, Muyon looked around. The area was quiet and deserted. Then Yang Qian stopped in front of a house. This seems to be the place, he muttered. Young master, this place looks a bit dangerous, Muyon said, looking at the location with some concern. Yeah, I know, the protagonist replied nonchalantly. Finally, he had found what he was looking for. Oh, found it, he exclaimed happily. In front of them was a rather large and grand house. I was worried I wouldn't be able to find this place. Young master, what exactly are you doing here? Muyon still couldn't help but ask. Does it look strange? Yes. Not because of the appearance of the building, but I just have a bad feeling. A keen intuition, Yang Qian replied with a smug smile. With that, the two of them entered the house that Yang Qian had been hiding since the beginning. A voice called out, Why is it this brat? What shady business are you up to? What are you talking about? We just took a wrong turn. The man behind them held a sword. What should we do? Should we get rid of them? On the other side, Muyon was already in a ready stance. Another person lit some candles. The man holding the candle sneered, Kid, this place isn't like those peaceful neighborhoods. What are you doing here? What are we doing here? Yang Qian replied calmly, without a hint of fear. We've come as guests. What nonsense are you spouting? The man retorted. Do we have to cut out your tongue to make you clear-headed? Hearing this, Muyon was furious. He gritted his teeth and snapped, How dare you? Yang Qian raised a hand to stop him. Don't make a move. Anyway, you must have known who I was since the moment I set foot in this territory. Are you worried that the Geum family will come to this place? There's no reason for them to. If a fight breaks out, we'll also be harmed. So before a sad situation occurs, bring out your branch leader. Branch leader, the man said irritably. I don't know where you learned that kind of talk, you little brat. You really have no manners. With that, they drew their swords and surrounded Yang Qian. Seeing this, Yang Qian laughed. Looking at you guys, you don't seem to have very good manners either. Ha ha ha! Get him, brothers, the man sneered. As soon as the words were spoken, they all rushed forward to attack Yang Qian. Each one of them looked like a common street thug. In this urgent situation, Muyon drew his sword and rushed to the rescue. In your dreams! Powerful light sword strikes flew towards the group. In just a flash, Muyon had easily cut down the entire group in front of him with clean, decisive movements. You won't even touch the young master's body, And so the entire group that had just been aggressively charging forward was now easily wounded by Muyon. A man standing behind witnessed this and cursed under his breath. "Damn it! That brat is the son of the Goom family. I should have considered that his guard would also have superior martial arts. And I can't take him to the branch leader. What should I do?" While he was still unsure what to do, a person walked out from inside and said, "Captain, the branch leader has something to say." "The branch leader?" he asked, surprised. Damn it! The news already reached the branch leader. What did he say he thought? That you should just go inside and you'll find out. And so they stood whispering in the distance. Yang Qian saw this and thought irritably, I can tell they're plotting something just by looking at them. Tisk, there's no other way. He was about to tell Muyon to rush forward and handle them, but just as he was about to speak, the man said, "Hey kid, sheathe your sword and come meet the branch leader. Follow me, I'll take you." The protagonist smirked resentfully. "Wouldn't things have been simpler if you'd just done that from the start, you idiots? Muyon, sheathe your sword. Let's go." Muyon also hurried after him. "Young master, what exactly is going on?" "It's nothing serious," Yang Qian replied nonchalantly. "I was originally planning to go to the Beggars Clan, but there was a slight problem. The Beggars Clan is the best in terms of intelligence among the 9 factions 1 clan. However, they are also part of the Righteous faction, so they won't do anything that could cause trouble for themselves. My request for the Beggars Clan was a bit problematic, so I had no choice but to find another place. If the Beggars Clan is the best in intelligence in the Righteous faction, then the best in intelligence in the unorthodox faction is this place, the Black Feather Gate. I need to go to the Black Feather Gate. I need to find out some very important information." And so Yang Qian and Muyon followed the underling of the Black Feather Gate. As they stepped inside, a man sitting in front of them spoke. "Please come in. I am the branch leader of this territory in Shanxi Doyangchul. I do not usually welcome people like you to this place, so on behalf of my subordinates, I apologize for their rudeness." Yang Qian casually pulled out a chair and sat down. "No need to apologize. Will you help me with something? First, may I ask why a prestigious family like the Goom family would bypass the Beggars Clan to come to an unorthodox faction like ours?" Yang Qian chuckled. "I came here because this is something that not just any faction can help with, but only the Black Feather Gate can. Why are you trying to probe me?" Seeing that the young boy was quite tough. "Do." Young Chul clasped his hands in front of his chest. "I apologize for making you uncomfortable, but because of your family name, we have to be cautious. Please understand." I understand, the protagonist said coldly. "So will you help me or not?" The man waved his hand nonchalantly. "The Black Feather Gate cannot refuse a rose. Just name your price for this mission." Hearing this, the protagonist replied smugly, "Then I'll take that as you've accepted the deal. I'm looking for someone, a man a little over 10 years old." With that, the protagonist handed over a piece of paper describing the person he was looking for. Young Chul took the paper and observed it for a moment. This case seemed quite difficult. "I take back my previous words, young man," he said, "because I don't think I can do this. We had a different agreement before you made your request. It wasn't to search for this child, but to search for the whereabouts of the child's guardian, so please understand." "Oh, is that so?" the protagonist replied, not too surprised. "Even if the payment goes to the master of the Black Feather Gate." At these words, a hail of piercing glares was directed at him from behind. Immediately, without a word, a series of men behind him drew their swords. The chilling sound of steel scraping echoed as they rushed forward to attack Yang Qian, sharp blades aimed right at him. Yet Yang Qian remained unfazed, sitting calmly with his arms crossed. Muyon immediately showed his skill. Like a flash of lightning, he swung his sword, blocking the incoming blades. "I don't think you'll be able to walk out of here alive." "Do," Young Chul said coldly. "How do you know that?" "I'm not here to play guessing games," Yang Qian replied nonchalantly. "Don't we both have the information the other needs? Can you repeat what you just said, or your information you should reconfirm with yourself? Carefully considering those things is what you should do when you're in a tight spot. If you don't need it, then forget it. I'm just asking for the faction's help. I could also reveal something about the master of the Black Feather Gate to them." Hearing these firm and confident words, the man finally relented. I understand, he replied. Seeing that his objective was achieved, Yang Qian said smugly, Good. So how long will it take? Normally it would take about 3 months. All right. After you find him, we'll talk more. With that, Yang Qian quickly left. He glanced back about to say something, but then decided against it. On the other side, Du Young Chul was a bit reluctant but had no choice but to accept the kid's request. What else could he do? The boy had them by the balls. Suddenly a voice echoed, startling him. Yuliang Mountain Range is your down payment. And those were the last words Yang Qian left behind. The room fell silent again after everyone left. Now only 2 people remained in the room. The man standing behind said, Yuliang Mountain Range. Do you trust his words, branch leader? Although he didn't want to believe it, Du Young Chul had no choice but to accept. According to him, the fact that he knows the top secret information that our master is missing, I have no choice but to believe him. He thought to himself, what is he thinking? Looking at the skill of his guard, he must have known how I would react. This is probably something only the young master knows. I'm sure the Goom clan patriarch is also involved. Damn it! He reached up and squeezed his neck, then pulled off a layer of skin. It turned out Du Young Chul was wearing a mask. Will it be all right if you take it off? The man behind him asked worriedly. It was just a bit stuffy. No one can see now. The Black Feather Gate doesn't usually value trust or listen to the master. That's why that person ran away to escape those who would assassinate him. At this moment he was a bit emotional, his eyes welling up with tears. Perhaps he had been putting on a strong front for a long time. Father, where on earth are you? At the same time, Yang Qian and Gum Yang had safely exited the Black Feather Gate. Perhaps only now could Yang Qian finally relax. The protagonist let out a long sigh. Phew, that's a relief. As he walked away, he thought if that happened, I would have told him to come to my place. But luckily, the little information I knew was useful. What I know is that the master of the Black Feather Gate has been imprisoned in the Black Knight Hall for over 5 years. As a result, the Black Feather Gate and the Black Knight Hall went to war. The Miram Alliance suddenly attacked, causing the Black Knight Hall to collapse, and the battle ended. During the battle, the master of the Black Feather Gate died, leading to the destruction of the Black Feather Gate. However, I don't know the exact location of the Black Knight Hall. Luckily, this information is quite useful thanks to the Black Feather Gate's branch in Shanxi and my meeting with the branch leader there. This is quite annoying, but I need to find that person. The one who reached the position of the demonic cult's leader at a young age and the famous strategist known as the brain of the entire demonic cult Heavenly Wolf Fang Jigyol. The way I'm thinking now is to find that guy and kill him. Even Wei Sola had to struggle because of his tactics. If I don't deal with him first, he'll help the demonic cult grow even stronger. Suddenly, Mu Yan spoke up. Anyway, young master, I don't even know who you're looking for. It will take about 3 months. You'll hear from them in the summer, the protagonist replied. It seems the people at the Black Feather Gate don't have much information according to the rumors, Mu Yan added. That's right. I can only catch him in the summer. As he spoke, Yang Qian suddenly remembered something. Why didn't I think of this? Isn't it about time for the treasure of the Zhangchuan family, the #1 merchant family, to be unearthed? The countless gold, silver, jewels, and treasures. There are not what I'm interested in. More importantly, there are priceless spirit pills. There was once a person who reached the pinnacle thanks to the medicinal power of the spirit pills. He later became a demon, and at the same time the right-hand man of the heavenly demon. Not just Jagyol, but even that treasure trove became a big problem. Even if I wanted to stop it, I couldn't because the treasure is all the way in Sichuan. It's too far. But it seems there's no other way. I have to give up. How can I get to Sichuan, and how can I find the hidden treasure? Well, I'll just buy some honey cakes before I go back. At the same time, back home Seola was very confused. What are you saying? I want to ask you what you think of me. I'll make you happy. And then a solution presented itself right at my doorstep. At the same time, in the Geum family estate, the second elder stood solemnly. Oh ho! There are fallen leaves in front of me. Yang Qian has gone out. The problem with Yang Qian is this old servant. Ha! The white-haired old man also laughed. Ho ho! Stop laughing and get to work, the second elder said. But it seemed he had taken the joke too far. The old man furiously snapped the broom in his hand and yelled, "Gumryun, what do you think you're doing?" "No, senior," the second elder stammered, backing away. "I just wanted to help you pretend to be a servant in the Gum family." "Then help me sweep the leaves," the old man said. But senior, you broke the broom. How can I sweep?" "Then pick them up with your hands." "Really?" The truth was, the second elder bent down and picked up each leaf with his hands. It had become a reality. Seolah's grandfather must have been an extraordinary person to make the second elder obey him so readily. "I didn't come all this way to meet the son of the Gyum family," he said. But there's some truth to it." "Senior, you felt it too, right?" the second elder said. "Just 3 months ago, that kid ran away because he couldn't cultivate, and now he defeated his sister. His performance in the Gumryong competition was also very stable. Don't you think that's an amazing talent? We can't just let it be." "I don't know if you can call it talent," the old man said, sipping his tea. "In my life, I've never seen anyone grow up so suddenly. That child must have something. If the first elder knew about this, he definitely wouldn't sit still. He might have already acted." If it's the first elder, it's possible. Where did that kid go? There will be many eyes on him, so he won't cause any major trouble." At the same time, where Seolah was, she was still innocently confused. "Huh. What are you saying? I wonder why that is. I'll make you happy." "I am Seolah. Everyone, please listen to Seolah. Are you curious about what's happening now? Let me tell you. Yesterday, Seolah had a dream, but it wasn't very good. In the dream, Seolah hurt many people. Even though Seolah doesn't like holding a sword, I hurt many people in the dream. Seolah wanted to stop, but then I went into a house and hurt someone else. I met an uncle there," he said weakly. "Just a little more is enough." Seolah was very confused then, but Seolah's face was very angry. Suddenly, the uncle killed himself right in front of Seolah. I was so scared then, so scared my face turned purple. I don't know why, but Seolah kept apologizing. I'm sorry. And then Seolah woke up. After having a dream like that, I was so scared that I really missed the young master. Big sister told me I should go to the training grounds, so I ran there. But I don't know if it's because Seolah arrived earlier than the young master, but I met someone else instead of the young master at the training grounds. That person said he would make me happy. But Seolah is happy when I'm with the young master. Just then, the young master saw that and made that scary expression again, and then the young master appeared at the right time, right on time. "I'm sorry, but this is my servant." "Who are you?" Gumyang said coldly. He thought to himself, "Who is that kid to dare touch Seolah? Look at that face. Tisk, tisk. I don't know where that kid came from, but he's definitely a loser." "My apologies," the kid continued. "To be so rude on our first meeting with the young master of the Jum family." "Huh, you know me?" Yang Qian asked, surprised. The man clasped his hands in a fist and replied, "Yes, sir. I am Gyum Chol Yeop. I wish to duel with a member of the main family's bloodline." Without a second's thought, the protagonist gave a strained smile. "I refuse." Perhaps he just didn't want to get involved in any more trouble. Kiel Yeop, thinking he had misheard, asked in shock. "Huh, what? I said I refuse," Yang Qian repeated. "Are you planning to run away?" "That's right." "Are you scared?" "That's right." "How pathetic. Running away just because of this." "You're very perceptive," Yang Qian replied without a hint of shame. "I am very weak. That's right." He thought to himself, "You defeated my sister in a match, but you think I'll fight someone I don't even know." With that thought, he turned to leave. "Well, then I'll be back." But before he could even reach the gate, he ran right into the second elder. "Ho ho, he came all this way." "How about you accept?" the elder said excitedly. "Why are you here?" Yang Qian exclaimed, startled. Seeing the second elder, Cholyop quickly clasped his hands in a respectful bow. "Greetings, second elder." "Second elder, do you know who this is?" Yang Qian asked, puzzled. Both boys asking at the same time made the second elder spin like a top. He turned to greet the boy, "Cholyop, it's been a while." Then he turned back to answer Yang Qian. "Oh, Yang Qian, don't you remember he's the grandson of the first elder?" Hearing this, Yang Qian thought, now that he mentions it, their faces do look similar. Chill Yap, you want to fight this kid? Yes, but the young master avoided it out of fear. You came here to flirt with a girl, didn't you? Yang Qian said irritably. Is this an order from the first elder? The second elder asked. Hearing this, Yang Qian grew thoughtful. So it's an order. I thought it was just a martial arts contest, but it's related to politics. No one knows that the first elder is an ambitious man. That's why he was waiting for an incompetent like me to become the patriarch. But an incompetent like me defeated Geum Yopseo, so his plan failed. Perhaps he intends to use his grandson to stomp on me once more. With that thought, Yang Qian emphasized again. Once again, I have no intention of fighting. The second elder, standing by, kept egging him on. He came all this way. Just accept. But Yang Qian stood firm. I don't want to. Why should I? He replied indifferently. I don't think Yang Qian will lose. The second elder chuckled. He already looks stronger than me, Yang Qian said, pulling Sola away. What are you talking about? I have no intention of getting involved in these petty squabbles. Suddenly, a hand grabbed Sola's arm. Wait! It was Kyo Yap's hand. The two were now in a tug-of-war over a girl, Sola. You're too good to be with someone like him, he continued. A coward and a weakling. If you're with me, I'll treat you well. But these words inadvertently provoked Yang Qian. He was fuming. His face was terrifying as he snapped, Hey, let go of her! All right, I'll fight you. Now whatever you want, little bro, I'll give it to you. And so, although he didn't want to, Yang Qian had to fight Chiyo Yap. Why do I have to do this? This is insane, he muttered in frustration. The second elder placed a hand on Yang Qian's head. What are you saying? Interesting encounters with new martial artists like this will help improve your skills. He then patted his head affectionately. Yes, Yang Qian replied helplessly. Anyway, what's done is done. Like you said, elder, whether I win or lose, I hope you'll do me a favor. Hearing this, the second elder burst out laughing. Ha ha, you little brat! This old man has no reason to accept your offer. If you lose here, only you, the one who will become the patriarch, will have your reputation damaged. Elder, I think you're a bit mistaken, Yang Qian continued. I have no intention of becoming the patriarch of this clan. Hearing this, the second elder was completely shocked. Damn. What do you mean, if it's not you, the direct heir, then who will succeed? I left that ambition behind in my past life, Yang Qian thought. It seems everyone thinks I intend to become the patriarch. He then grinned cheekily. If you don't accept my offer, then I'll just stomp my feet and throw a tantrum for you. Wah, I won't do it, I won't. Heh. This kid isn't cute at all, the second elder replied, exasperated. Fine, but I have one condition. Again, what condition are you going to set this time? I'll accept your offer if you win. With that, the two of them moved to the center of the training ground. Are you warmed up? Chill Yap asked. More or less, Yang Qian replied confidently. My apologies, young Master Goom. Huh, what are you talking about all of a sudden? I was too rough in our match last year, young Master Joom, Chill Yap replied with a smirk. Who would have thought you'd be bedridden for a whole month? Hearing this, Yang Qian tried to search his memory but couldn't recall anything. That's a pretty long time to be in bed, he thought. Why don't I have any memory of it? While Yang Qian was standing there lost in thought, Chill Yap continued. At that time I realized that the young master of the Goom family was truly a good-for-nothing. I heard you defeated your second sister, but I think that was just a fluke. Although my grandfather doesn't think so. I don't want to bully a weakling, but what I want even less is for that weakling to become the patriarch of the Geum family. At these words, a terrifying aura emanated from his body, and the sword in his hand grew hot with the intensity of the match. Yet Yang Qian stood there completely calm, not even holding a weapon. Suddenly, Chill Yap spoke up. Second elder, I also have something I want if I win this match. Fine. The conditions must be fair. What do you want, Chill Yap? The elder replied. Without a moment's hesitation, Chill Yap replied frankly. I want that little servant girl. So you chose death. Of all the things to choose, you just had to touch what's mine. That's not good. Ah. Ah. Yang Qian chuckled. Then his expression turned utterly furious, his eyes filled with resentment. You insolent brat. Witnessing Yang Qian's fury, the second elder laughed with delight. Ha ha ha! Excellent! Then let the match begin. And so the two of them glared at each other with killing intent, neither willing to back down. The atmosphere grew increasingly tense. Aren't you going to attack? What are you waiting for? Yang Qian said irritably. In matches like this, I usually let the weaker one attack first. Chiel Yop replied. The weaker one, me? So you're scared now? Yang Qian said forcefully. Hearing his defiant words, Chiel Yop felt a flicker of worry. Humph. I'm clearly superior in internal energy speed and physical strength. Could it be because of that kid's heat energy? Impossible. A person full of weaknesses from head to toe like him must be using all his strength to suppress my internal energy. And that sentence? He's definitely trying to hold on with less internal energy than me, so he'll soon collapse. Now his internal energy has been completely depleted. After a moment of not seeing Chiel Yop attack, Yang Qian said, You said I could attack first, right? Fine. Here I come. With that, Yang Qian shot forward like a rocket, appearing right behind him. Chiel Yop was quite surprised by his speed and agility. He then leaned back to dodge Yang Qian's attack. Good moves, Chiel Yop said confidently. But too slow. Slow, you say? The protagonist channeled his internal energy into his palm. A powerful aura emanated from it. Then he punched him hard in the mouth. After that, Yang Qian launched himself into the air, spun around and kicked him again for good measure. Immediately, Chiel Yop was hit with Yang Qian's divine kick-and-punch combo. Let's see if he can still talk big now. And then, boom, a heaven and earth-shaking explosion echoed. Chiel Yop coughed up blood in pain. The old sayings are true, a frog dies by its own croak. Everything has its limits. Underestimating your opponent without knowing their true strength is a fool's errand. You never know what life will throw at you. Get up while I'm still giving you time, Yang Qian said coldly. It's all over. Don't whine that I attacked you by surprise. Or should we just stop here? Chiel Yop slowly stood up. I'm sorry for underestimating the young master of the Goom family. It was my impulsive nature. All right, then let's end it here, Yang Qian replied. Not yet. This humble one has yet to return the favor. Immediately, Yang Qian circulated his energy, a powerful aura radiating from his body. The protagonist thought to himself, right, it can't end this early. I don't have much time either. I was originally planning to unleash all my internal energy to win quickly, but if I want to face someone stronger than me like him, I have to hold back my internal energy to strengthen my physical body. I can get stronger quickly, but I might not be able to handle a large amount of internal energy at once. If I overdo it, I might even suffer from chi deviation. The limit is half a quarter of an hour. I have to win within that time. The 9 dragons. 7 swords technique he's using starts with drawing the sword and ends with sheathing it. I just need to pay attention to how he swings his sword. With that thought, Yang Qian focused intently, observing his opponent's every move. On the other side, as expected, Chiel Yop drew his sword. Yang Qian's eyes widened in surprise. Like a flash of lightning, Chiel Yop rushed forward to attack, but Yang Qian could still easily dodge each move. Each strike was delivered in an instant, incredibly agile and fluid. His eyes had turned blood red, looking terrifying. The protagonist leaned left and right to avoid the continuous barrage of brutal sword strikes. As he struggled to dodge, Yang Qian thought, this chain of attacks is so fluid without a single flaw. This guy has really gone through arduous training. His movements are so natural. If I interrupt his chain of attacks, he won't be able to strike anymore. With that thought, Yang Qian placed a hand on his chest, channeling his internal energy into his palm. Meanwhile, Chiel Yop had swung his sword, closing in on him. The protagonist remained highly focused, circulating his energy. It was just enough time for him to circulate the heat energy in his body. When Chiel Yop's blade came close, it was repelled by the power radiating from Yang Qian's body. Damn it! Where did that terrifying internal energy come from? Chiel Yop exclaimed in shock. This should be enough to decide the winner, right? Yang Qian wasn't stopping there. He rushed forward like the wind and furiously punched Cheol Yop again, a powerful blow to the stomach. "Now do you realize my strength?" The pressure from the punch radiated outwards with immense force, causing the tiles beneath the protagonist's feet to crack. Cheol Yop was sent flying through the air and slammed hard into a nearby wall. At this point, were any of his bones still intact? Who would have thought the outcome would be so tragic? Yang Qian approached and said, "Do you know what annoys me the most? No matter what anyone says about me, what kind of attitude they have towards me, or even if they covet the position of young master." At this point, Cheol Yop was in so much pain from head to toe that he couldn't even move. Yang Qian's eyes grew agitated, turning a terrifying blood red. "I don't care about those things. But for someone like you to dare to covet and touch what is mine, you've really pissed me off." At this moment, Yang Qian thought to himself, "I don't like it when someone so easily gets something they shouldn't touch. Or maybe I should just cripple this arm so he won't have that thought anymore. Yes, I should probably do that. The right hand. That sounds about right." Just as he was about to cripple his arm, a hand landed on his shoulder. The second elder, as if seeing through Yang Qian's intentions, stepped forward to stop him. "You've worked hard, Yang Qian, so stop." It had to be said that this match, though brief, left behind a trail of incredible destruction. Large and small craters littered the training ground. A while later, after Yang Qian had calmed down, the second elder spoke. "Yang Qian, you were too rough." "I expected this before I entered the match," Yang Qian replied nonchalantly. "Would it be too easy for him if he could just stand up and go home after every match?" "You brat. Aren't you afraid the first elder won't let this go easily?" "So what? It's not like I intend to become the patriarch anyway." This indifferent attitude infuriated the second elder. "Tisk! How can you say such things if it's not you, the direct heir, then who will become the patriarch?" he snapped. Yang Qian glanced towards Seola. "Then just appoint someone. Do you want to do it?" he asked her. Hearing this, Seola, not understanding anything, asked innocently, "But do I get to eat as much as you want?" "Then from today, Seola's dream is to become the patriarch of this place." The protagonist was truly a master teaser, provoking the second elder until he was about to explode. "Oh my God, this isn't a topic for you to joke about," he said furiously. "So what?" Yang Qian replied nonchalantly. "This little girl is probably much better than me." Suddenly, a thought struck him. Speaking of which, when will this little girl be taught swordsmanship? If she's the disciple of the Sword Venerable, she must have been learning from him all day. She's only been doing housework. I've never seen her hold a sword before. Thinking back, her personality back then wasn't this mischievous. That winter when I met her. How did it go? Why can't I remember? It's not something I could have forgotten so easily. As he was lost in thought, Seola spoke up. Young master, are you okay? You must have been injured in the fight just now. Before you go to heaven, you must appoint Seola as the patriarch." At her nonsensical words, Yang Qian conveniently bonked her on the head for talking nonsense. Hey. Ahem, the second elder said, slowly standing up. "Let's talk about the patriarch position later. You must be tired from the match, so I'll be heading back to rest." As he was about to slip away, Yang Qian called out, "Elder, where are you going? You have to keep your promise to me." Tisk. "So what do you want? Money or food?" The second elder replied. The protagonist grinned widely. "Ha! Not those useless things. An elder of your stature would surely accept even a difficult request, right? Ahem. What do you want?" As he spoke, the protagonist pointed into the distance. "Send me to Sichuan." Hearing this, the second elder muttered in confusion. "Sichuan? An elder of your stature can send me to Sichuan, right?" Yang Qian said smugly. "So can I go?" The protagonist startled. What did you just say?" "I thought you were going to ask for something grand. I was worried for nothing, ha. But Elder Sichuan isn't the market across the street or a place I can just come and go from as I please," Yang Qian exclaimed, confused. "You know very well that the sole son of the Gume family can't just wander around freely. It's not like you don't know that I need a very important reason to go, right? You can just participate in the Tang clan's arms exhibition," the second elder replied. Hearing this, the protagonist's eyes widened in shock. The Tang Clan's Arms Exhibition. Every year, the Tang Clan would invite powerful families to an exhibition of weapons made by great masters. Even if you don't need to participate, you can use attending the exhibition as a reason to go, the elder continued. To go so far as to participate in a match you hate just to win this request. Hearing this tone, Yang Qian suddenly felt a chill. Elder, that request just now. I just said it on a whim. I was originally going to ask for money. Oh, so that's it. The elder chuckled. So you wanted to leave early. This old man misunderstood your intentions, Yang Qian. Old age is a scary thing, heh. Elder, if you can't give me money, then just one spirit pill will do, Yang Qian stammered. Suddenly the elder burst out laughing as if he had struck gold. All right, this old man will help you leave early even if it's just by one day. Behold the power of this elder. A chill ran down Gum Yang's spine. Elder, I take back my request. I'll choose something else, he said hastily. But the second elder was now very smug. Now I'm sending you right the hell now, he roared. How can I leave right now? Yang Qian replied, dejected. I need to prepare things, cancel reports, and then... This is an urgent order from the elder. Someone take young master Gum Yang Qian to Sichuan. And so a transfer was arranged incredibly quickly and hastily. Wish granted, if you want to go, I'll send you right away. It had to be said the second elder's power was terrifying. Young master, we are ready to depart, Muyan reported, clasping his hands. Huh. The protagonist still hadn't fully recovered. What is this? Where am I and who am I? And so, Yang Qian remained in a daze from the moment he received the news until he was sitting in the carriage, still not fully processed. Oh my God, what the hell is this? I can just leave like that. The second elder waved goodbye cheerfully. Then Seola's grandfather turned back into the house, muttering, Well then, we should also get to our housework. Huh, senior, me too? The second elder asked, bewildered. Of course. If the old are working, the young must help. The second elder was incredibly frustrated, but had no choice but to obey. Fine. Since it's just the two of us, and it's boring, you can listen to me nag while we work, he said resentfully. It sounds like you wanted to nag, which is why you wanted to send that kid away so early. A few days ago, the Gum clan patriarch asked me for something, to find an external saint. Note: external saint refers to a divine physician, or roughly translated a faceless healer, a doctor with superhuman abilities who can cure all illnesses. It seems he asked me because someone told him something. Hearing this, the second elder was shocked. Find an external saint. But in response to his question, the senior said nothing. The second elder then closed the gate. As he closed it, he said, If you don't want to talk about it, then let's change the subject. Your granddaughter's name is Seol-ah, right? She doesn't look like a human. What exactly is that child? You're overstepping your bounds, Gumryun. The senior snapped, his voice furious. Watch your mouth. At these words, a terrifying aura emanated from the senior, and swords floated around him. If she were human, I should be able to feel some life force, no matter how little, the second elder continued. Just like the life force radiating from your body, senior. The first time at the Gumryong assembly, I couldn't feel any life force from that little girl either. If you think an external saint will come and cure that child with some divine medical art, then you should wake up from your dream. I know very well that it's not an illness. That's enough, Gumryun. The senior cut him off before he could finish. That girl is human. At this moment, countless terrifying sword auras radiated from his body. Realizing this, the second elder seemed to understand that he should stop there. The old man was truly angry. If you say so, then I'll believe it, the second elder said, turning to leave. If you want to protect the child, then do so. Anyway, my intentions don't matter. If she's not human, so what? We just need to supplement what's missing from a human. Even if it means giving up this old life of mine, it's not a bad thing. Seola Grandpa has always hoped for you to grow up day by day. A few hours later, the Sword Venerable suddenly realized that Wee Sola was missing. A few days later. By now it was night. Under the bright moon, Yang Qian's group stopped to rest, planning to continue their journey the next morning. By the campfire, Muyon said, Now we just need to prepare more food. We still have a few days to reach Sichuan, so we have to ration everyone's portions, another female servant replied. Where did the young master go? Muyon asked, a bit worried. I saw him go off to train while we were preparing. I guess the young master was bored, haha. We should have brought Seola with us. Meanwhile, at the same time, young Cheon was engrossed in his martial arts training. Each powerful move was executed in a flash. Not only that, but it seemed his internal energy was growing deeper as the damage from his punches had increased significantly. After a while of intense training, young Cheon was exhausted and sat down, panting heavily. I've only done a few moves and I'm almost out of internal energy. It's been almost 10 days on the road. Even though I've been training regularly, I don't see any progress. The biggest problem here is my internal energy. When I fought Goom Cheol Yop, internal energy is the foundation of martial arts, so I need to recover it quickly. He remembered how the Goom clan's blazing flame art could push all the demonic energy out of his body when fighting the demon wolves. The demonic suction art was a way to absorb internal energy from demon stones and spirit pills. However, gradually introducing demonic energy into the body would lead to a state of demonization. For some reason, the Gyum clan's blazing flame wheel art could purify demonic energy. Since then, he hadn't felt any demonic energy inside him. This meant he could increase his internal energy without any backlash. But it was still the heavenly demon's martial art. It was best not to use it. It was hard enough to escape that path. He never wanted to step back into that damn demonic path again. Suddenly a scream came from behind. Ah! Startled Yang Cheon looked back in the direction of the sound. It was coming from the carriage where they were resting. Frightened voices echoed, "What's going on?" It's... What? So vague. What is it?" Yang Cheon quickly ran towards the commotion. "Mu Yon, what's going on?" he asked urgently. "Young master, it's in the carriage," Mu Yon stammered. Whatever was in the carriage had startled everyone. Yang Cheon peeked inside. In the carriage? He wondered. Suddenly a scream rang out. "Ah!" Then Seola poked her head out, looking cheerful. "Young Master Nani, surprise, old hag." She then scratched her head shyly. Hey, I'm here." After that, Seola slowly recounted the whole story to everyone, explaining why she was here instead of at home. "That day, while everyone was preparing the carriage, I went to beg Grandpa to let me go with everyone. Seola wants to go with everyone. Do you know what Grandpa said? No, you're terrible at housework. I kept begging, then why did you let me go last time? Please let me go." "You mean the Gumryong assembly? That was because there were people watching over you so you wouldn't make any mistakes. But in Sichuan there isn't. If you understand, then help me carry this." At that time, Seola obeyed and carried a pile of clothes. As I walked, I muttered, "Young master said he won't be back for at least a month." But Seola is not good at work, and young master hates useless people, so Seola thinks Seola won't have another chance. Suddenly a strange voice said, "Wait." I looked around but didn't see anyone. I was so confused then. Who is it? Who is it? There was no one. I guess the voice came from this barrel. Suddenly a pale white hand appeared and pushed me hard on the back. With a push, Seol-ah fell inside, sitting among a pile of vegetables. Seol-ah was so scared my face turned pale. I muttered, Who pushed me? Who was it? You shouldn't joke like that. Seol-ah is so scared." A pair of hands floated in the air. After that, I don't remember anything. I just felt very sleepy. Seol-ah needs to sleep. Sleep. And so Seol-ah fell asleep without anyone knowing. Outside the carriage, after everything was packed, the carriage set off. "Let's go, young master, we're ready." It seems that mysterious force also said, "Sorry, I'll leave this to you." And that's what happened. But contrary to Seolah's enthusiastic storytelling after everyone heard the story, no one said anything. Everyone's face was as blank as if they had lost their house deed. This made Seolah's excitement completely deflate. Thinking that everyone hadn't heard, she cheerfully repeated, "And that's what happened?" I heard you the first time," Yang Qian replied indifferently. "So you were haunted by a ghost?" "That's right," Seola replied with relish. "Then go home. That's what she should do." Sitting in the carriage, Seola exclaimed with excitement, "Young master, an owl, I've eaten it before. Its meat is very chewy." Yang Qian replied indifferently. And after that, whatever she saw around her, she would exclaim with joy, "Wow, this time it's a squirrel."